29 due to a crash. 465 westbound traffic tightens up between 31 and Man. This report brought to you by Fresh Time Market. This week at Fresh Time Market, save on certified Angus beef bottom round or eye of round roast, just $3.99 a pound now through November 8th. Get real. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Should be a comfy start to your work week. Our highs today topping out low 60s with a mostly sunny sky. Lows tonight in the upper 30s, lower 40s, and much of the same on Tuesday. Low 60s for a high with a mostly sunny sky. I'm Wish TV, Storm Track 8, Stephanie Mead for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
Oh, man, what a day. What a day. We'll get you up to date on all the latest coming from West 56th Street. Your Indianapolis Colts making some huge changes at the head coach position. More on that in just a few minutes. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. First, some election shenanigans happening in Carmel.
Carmel.
Yeah, certainly in Carmel. What happened?
We haven't even got to Election Day yet, and there's a scandal already. Looking at you, Hamilton County. So apparently a poll worker at one of these early voting sites in Carmel was removed from their post this past week, and the Republican Party in Hamilton County is claiming that there was illegal activity going on, and the local sheriff has opened up an investigation.
Whoa. Wait a minute. So this wasn't a guy standing outside with a sign, and a shirt of the candidate they're supporting. This was somebody that was inside the facility.
Helping people vote. Now, our pal Tony Kennett from Chalkboard Review was the one that kind of broke this story to us over the weekend. He's going to be joining us later in the show. But the nuts and bolts here, the Republican Party is claiming that there was a poll worker who has been asked not to come back, and he was a Democrat who attempted to pressure voters to not support GOP-endorsed school board candidates. So, Nigel, let's say that your mom or your dad, they go to vote. There's somebody that takes their information, and there's somebody that shows them to the voting box. And if they don't know how to do it, they show them how to do it. Well, in this case, according to the reports, this lunatic was clicking all Democrats for them. And these people probably didn't know how to get out of it. So this is a big deal here. Now, again, this is from Tony Kennett of Chalkboard Review, who will join us later. James Zhang, he's a Democrat, was not only ejected and facing an investigation, but he was pre-selecting straight Democrat ticket for voters at the early voting site in Carmel this past Thursday.
I love how the Democrats, all they've been saying this past few months is that you better watch out. Republicans are going to fix the election. You better watch out for those Republicans. They're going to steal it from us. They're going to steal, and then what do you know? Turn around, you see, it's a Democrat allegedly tampering and causing a, quote, ruckus.
Can you describe the ruckus?
But I mean, that's what you just described. If that's true and there is an investigation and you're innocent until proven guilty, but if that's true, if witnesses were saying that he was pushing the button for straight ticket Democrats on the voting machine and calling people racist for voting for certain GOP school board members, that's illegal. You can't do that.
Beth Scheller, she's the election administrator of Hamilton County, says that Zhang was accused by local voters of telling black voters, quote, not to vote for the racist candidates that are outside. Because there were folks outside that were saying, hey, take this information with you. Good luck. Please vote for our candidate on your way in. Zhang was telling people don't vote for those racist candidates, indicating a group of pro-parent candidates beyond the electioneering boundary running for the school board in the Carmel Clay School District. You can't do this. Two of the voters complained about this act, and he was asked to leave. Now, he is vehemently denying this, but he does admit that he was asked to leave and he left. The Democratic Party, this is their response, quote, it appears as through school board activists supporting GOP-endorsed candidates were too close to voting machines at a vote center in the county after a poll worker brought it to the attention of election administrators. He was removed from working the site. So they're claiming that, well, he might not have hit all these buttons, but he was removed. But at the same time, I think words mean something, Nige. You don't hear them denying that he pre-selected the all-Democrat option on the ballot.
And there's an open investigation, so we'll see. I mean, if there's nothing to see here, then fine. But I don't know. It sounds like there were several people that were upset by this, and they kicked the guy out of there.
So what happens if this race in Hamilton County in Carmel comes down to a couple votes? Like, what if it's really close? How many ballots did this clown do this to? And what happens after that? There's some major issues going on here, and now the authorities are involved. It's been a rough couple of months for education officials in Hamilton County. You had that story from the Hamilton Southeastern schools where when the younger brother of the fallen officer Noah Shanavaz went back to school, he was greeted with a defund the police school project that was conveniently placed and never taken down. And if you remember what happened when the school board was asked about it, whoever their PR person was, it's that woman that used to work at RTV6. She was real snarky, real snotty. And now you've got this story from the Carmel section. There's a lot going on in Hamilton County.
I early voted in Zionsville there at the town hall. Maybe it was a Wednesday or Thursday. I got right in and out. It was actually pretty nice. It was like right after the show, and there was somebody causing a little bit of a ruckus there too in the vestibule as I was walking in. There was an election official arguing with somebody that was or was not allowed to be on site or on premise there, and I didn't exactly see what was going on, but I think that'd be just a little disconcerting if you are just trying to go vote and you're seeing something like that happen,
right?
Or you're seeing somebody, or you're having somebody tell you, don't vote for those racists. You know,
exactly.
Especially if they're inside working the poll.
And how many ballots did he do that to? And how long was he doing it? We're going to need to get answers on this, because if this is a close race for these school board issues, then, man, we're going to have to get some major investigators in here. So when you go vote tomorrow, and again, we're at the finish line. Midterm voting is tomorrow. Whether you're voting early tonight, whether you're going tomorrow, if you're tired of this crap, on the school board, make these people pay. Do your research and vote every single one of these people out and get some fresh blood in there, but make sure you've done your research. And remember, when you're voting straight ticket, that means you can't vote in school boards. So go one by one, go down your ballot, take your time.
Do a little research.
Right. You're there anyway. Do the research and make your vote count. James, can I get a little mood music, please?
Hit the road, Jack.
For the first time in the Jim Irsay ownership era, he has fired a head coach during the season. Frank Reich was relieved of his duties earlier today, Big Nige. Frank Reich is one of the all-time nice guys. Good dude.
Seems like it, yeah.
Really nice guy. But I think we all saw the writing on the wall after whatever that was yesterday.
He had a winning record still, like 40-33 or something like that. A couple playoff appearances for the Colts. But, after that debacle on Sunday, that was literally the worst game I've ever slept through. I was just nodding off, and every time I'd wake up, there'd be an interception or a dropped or a sack.
Can I read you my favorite text that you sent to me yesterday?
What's that?
So again, for those who don't know, myself, Nigel, Rob Kendall, our bosses, we kind of have a text thread where we talk about the Colts game or whatever's going on. At one point, and this is when the Colts are already getting beat and they look like crap, I get the text from Nige, 7-yard punt.
Yeah, that guy screwed up the punt.
7-yard punt.
That was towards the end of the that was towards the end of the game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just the cherry on top of the sundae, man. And now they have named the interim head coach, and it's former Colts Pro Bowler Jeff Saturday. Now, Nige, Jeff Saturday has never coached at the NFL level.
They love him in the Colts organization, though.
He's never coached at the college level.
But I'm sad, but he is beloved on West 56th Street in terms of management and ownership.
He was kind of working as a consultant behind the scenes with the Colts, but he's going to be the head coach, the interim head coach, as the Colts travel to Vegas this weekend to take on the Raiders.
Yeah, like I wonder if you're a player and you're in that locker room, you're like, wait, who's my coach now? Who's telling me what to do? Who is it that doesn't have any experience that's going to try to lead this team? And if I'm the assistant coach, if I'm Reggie Wayne, if I'm somebody that maybe was looking to take on that role, the special teams coach or something like that, aren't you like kind of in the back raising your hand? Hello, I've got experience. What is this? What's going on with this team?
To which Jim Irsay would respond, "Oh, I saw your coaching yesterday." You know how we were lucky to get a first down yesterday? Yeah, we're going to try the outsider. It's turned into politics. Jeff Saturday is an outsider. He's the man you need to shake up the Indianapolis Colts. So in my mind, Nige, as somebody that remembers those glory days of the Indianapolis Colts, this is how it plays out. Jeff Saturday is going to be the head coach. Reggie Wayne's going to be the offensive coordinator. They're going to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. next year. 3 years from now, Arch Manning comes in to play quarterback. Boom, we got the band back together, baby. We got the band back together. So with this news of Jeff Saturday, let's go down a little bit of a rabbit hole here. Great moments in Jeff Saturday history.
Playing the Rams on Monday night, we got down there pretty close to the end zone. We threw the ball 3 times in a row and incomplete and had to kick a field goal.
We came off the field and we exchanged words of how we thought it should get done.
And Jeff comes off and says, we need to be running the ball down there. And I just snapped.
Hey, quit calling the plays, all right?
Hey, we gotta run the ball. Six down there.
Pass, block. We'll run the ball.
Can we run it down there?
Just play.
We run it down.
Yeah, Jeff. We will. All right, when we call pass plays, block. No, he's calling plays. Go sit down. He's calling plays. I will sit down. Don't quit yelling. Hey, go sit down. No, we're cool. Y'all yell. He's doing it. Come on. He's yelling at us.
If I'm not mistaken, as newly inducted Ring of Honor honoree Tarek Glenn was one of those guys telling Peyton to sit down in that clip.
Right.
On the sidelines.
Saturday and Peyton fighting, and then Tarek Glenn walks over there and ends it.
Yeah.
Hey, and guess what, Peyton? Guess who's calling the plays now? Guess who's calling the plays this Sunday, Peyton?
Is he going to call the plays? Do they have an offense? They don't have an offensive coordinator.
By default, he's going to have to, isn't he?
Yes.
It's such a mess.
Why don't me and you fill out an application? Should me and you up in the booth?
See how long it takes us to get a decline from the Indianapolis Colts. We've looked over your resume, and we're going to go into another direction. All right, Alan Green, what are we looking at here?
Well, we're looking at 47 being shut down between 65 and 39 due to a crash. 465 southbound taps and brakes from 70 to Shadeland. Eastbound 465, just a little bit of a delay from Allisonville to 69. This report brought to you by B Window. Don't miss the annual B Window Black Friday sale. Up to 52% discount plus manufacturer's rebates. And no payments, no interest for 18 months. BWindow.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
We have got a loaded show, and it's a short show tonight. IU basketball. First regular season game is tonight. Pregame starts at 6. So before you say anything to us, yes, at 6 o'clock, the streaming will stop. The app will stop working because we can't stream live play-by-play. Not our decision. Your app is fine. That's why it's silent. All right, we're all on the same page here. Let's get down to it. 63 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
By listening to WIBC, you'll learn how to create a secure income plan that is sustainable throughout retirement from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors. Tune into WIBC this Sunday from 9 to 10 p.m.
Andre Carson is counting on you to re-elect him while he sits back and watches the mess he helped create. He's watching as groceries, gas, and housing costs skyrocket, as crime is spiking and kids are being killed, as our schools are failing both students and parents. And while we suffer, Andre Carson has done nothing but collect millions of your tax dollars. That's why he is rated one of the least effective members of Congress. When are we going to demand better than Andre Carson?
Andre Carson has failed. Have you had enough yet? I am Angela Grabowski, and as a successful businesswoman, I know what needs to be done to stop inflation and bring down prices. I'm a proud immigrant, and I'm dedicated to providing opportunities for all. And I will make it a top priority to clean up the violent crime that has infested our community. A vote for me is a vote for change. I'm Angela Grabowski, a candidate for Congress in Indiana's 7th Congressional District, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Angela Grabowski for Congress, Indiana 7.
I need to turn off these news alerts. Interest rates climbing. Stocks are crashing.
I know. I stopped looking at my 401k too. Democrats in D.C. are killing the economy.
We need leaders who actually work for a living.
That's why I'm voting for an outsider, Julie McGuire.
Good point. Julie McGuire? She isn't a politician.
Julie McGuire is one of us, a common-sense conservative who understands the challenges families are facing, like inflation and education.
Yeah, and Julie's a wife, a mom, and an active member at St. Rock Church. She understands our community.
Did you know Julie is supported by first responders? McGuire's been endorsed by the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC.
Julie McGuire also backs our law enforcement officers. McGuire's endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, and she'll fight to keep our schools and neighborhoods on the South Side safe.
Julie McGuire will be a great state representative.
Paid for by Julie McGuire for state representative.
A story of first downs and second chances. Meet former pro football player Michael Robinson.
I wanted to keep playing, but my feet hurt.
And all those big league experts couldn't help?
You have access to anything, but none of it worked.
Finally, he got fitted with Good Feet arch supports.
Let me tell you something. They work.
Now, he recommends Good Feet to
anybody. If you move, go to the Good Feet store.
Sign up for your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down, so she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch supports.
I would work an entire day, and my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Come in for a free fitting, no appointment needed. The Good Feet store, in the north, near Keystone at the Crossing or in Greenwood.
Meet Kerry Forrestal, Marion County Sheriff. He's been keeping us safe for over 30 years. As U.S. Marshal, he drove drug gangs out of town. As Sheriff, he expanded the Gang Intelligence Unit to stop violent crime. And he's cracking down on sex offenders to keep our kids safe.
As sheriff, I won't stop. And my highest priority will be to protect our children.
Kerry Forrestal. Promises made, promises kept.
Paid for and authorized by Forrestal for Sheriff.
Hello, this is Andre Carson, and I'm happy helping Hoosiers every day. I am proud to have passed 19 bills to improve the lives of all Americans, and I'm bringing money back to where it belongs, right here in Indianapolis. Recently, I worked to secure over $500 million for our city through the American Rescue Plan and direct funding to local organizations working on mental health, crime reduction, and job training. I'm Andre Carson, and I pledge to keep fighting for all Hoosiers. Be sure to vote on or before November 8th.
Paid for and authorized by Andre Carson for Congress.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains, your American Standard air dealer.
Crime, punishment, judges, legal stuff.
You know, I remember talking about this story a few months ago, Hammer. It was actually kind of ticked me off a little bit because, here's what happened. This 18-year-old sex trafficking victim pled guilty to killing the man she said repeatedly raped her. Right? Remember this? Got to pay $150,000 to this guy's family, and she eventually got 5 years probation.
She had to pay $150,000 to the family of the man that raped her.
When she was 15. 15 years old is when all this happened. She eventually stabbed him to death. So 5 years probation, $150,000 restitution to the guy's family. Seems unfair. She was the victim here. Again, sex trafficked, repeatedly assaulted. But now she's escaped from the residential probation center that she was living at.
She's on the lam.
Yeah. She cut off her ankle thing that you keep on your leg,
bracelet
little monitor. And now she could face up to 20 years in prison now that she left, that she kind of quote unquote escaped. Again, this was like a low minimum security, some sort of probation center that she was residing at.
So let me ask you a question, and I'll throw this out there for anybody. You can tweet at us, hit me up on Facebook, the YouTube chat, whatever. Am I a horrible person that I'm rooting for her to not be found? She murdered the person that was raping her, had to pay all this money to the family of the person that was raping her, and now she's on the run. I hope she never gets found. Does that make me a horrible person?
No, especially, when you read the details of what happened. Again, this happened when she was 15. She ran away from home because she was in an abusive home environment. She was taken in by this scumbag who, she said, trafficked her, forced her to have sex with other men in exchange for money. The guy that she killed was one of these men, and repeatedly assaulted over and over and over and over again. And then one time, they forced her to drink vodka, and she woke up and she had realized, oh, they did it to me again. And so the other guy was passed out, stabbed him to death while in his sleep. 15 years old.
This sounds like a movie, man. This is like some sort of movie, and listen, I'm rooting for her. I am. And if that makes me the bad guy, then say hello to the bad guy. But it's ridiculous. She had to pay all that money to the family of the victim who was raping her repeatedly.
Yeah, I know. A GoFundMe page set up by her teacher raised more than $500,000. And I don't know, the money collected beyond the court-ordered $150,000 fee would help her attend college. But I don't know what's going to happen now. Because, yeah, she did break the law. As unfortunately and unfair as the law was, you cut the ankle bracelet off, you escape your residential probation facility that you're supposed to be at, then you're going to get some additional charges.
Somewhere Ryan Mears is like, whoa, you mean people can take the ankle bracelet off? Whoa, I never thought of that before. What have we been doing this whole time? James, give me some mood music one more time.
Another hurricane. Is that what this is?
The next possible hurricane is brewing in the Atlantic, and it could pose a threat to the Atlantic coast of Florida later this week, Nige. Tropical storm Nicole could reach the Bahamas tomorrow and Florida's east coast by Wednesday night. It could be early Thursday morning. Again, the last thing Florida needs is another hurricane. Now, this would be on the opposite side of the state. The last one, the big one, went through the Gulf and hit the St. Pete kind of area, a little bit south of that. Fort Myers. Yeah. This one would be the Atlantic side, but still, that's a lot of money going to fix up things in that state. So keep an eye on that. When we come back, we're going to get the gun guy in here. Monday Gun Day, a little pre-midterm edition. We're going to kick around some things that are being said in the media in regards to firearms and the election. We'll get Guy Relford's thoughts on that and more. That's coming up next.
Have an old furnace? Text the year your furnace was installed to B&W at 317-868-7900, and you could win one of 2 new furnaces right before Christmas. B&W is your American Standard Air dealer.
Hey guys, there's a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework. Be sure to go to a provider that you can trust. We recommend the Low T Center. Low T Center exclusively specializes in men's wellness, and they check all of your levels. I'm not just talking about testosterone, and they will determine the cause of any symptoms you're having, like whether or not you're a candidate from low T or maybe something else like sleep apnea.
It's time to take your health seriously. Guys, we're getting close to the end of the year. It's time to take care of yourselves. And the Low T Center has affordable and convenient options for you to do that. You could get self-monitored inject treatments that ship directly to your home for testosterone, but the Low T Center also does so much more. They test you for prostate levels, thyroid, kidney functions, liver, glucose levels, and more. And the best part is that it's covered by most health insurance or less than $100 cash pay. LowTCenter.com. Book your appointment today. LowTCenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers. Securely destroy electronic data. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. They're the ones that installed my American Standard air conditioner last summer. B&W knows you can't get a free furnace with a purchase, but B&W also knows that you can win a furnace. In fact, B&W is giving away 2 furnaces right before Christmas.
They're giving away 2 American Standard 95% high-efficiency furnaces. The entrant in this sweepstakes that has the oldest furnace will win a new furnace. Everyone else who enters is in the drawing for the second one. How do you enter? Text B&W at 317-868-7900. Just include your name and what year your furnace was installed. Text B&W 317-868-7900. That's 868-7900. No purchase necessary. B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains is your trusted, local, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
The Indiana Donor Network encourages you to say yes to being an organ donor when you renew your hunting license online. Learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
From Reich to Saturday, 62 degrees and sunny on Monument Circle. All clear on the radar, low of 41 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:32. The Indianapolis Colts fired their head coach Frank Reich Monday after losing their 5th game of the season to the Patriots.
As we all heap on, what's going on with Frank, we have to be thoughtful of the other guys as well.
Former Colts offensive lineman Jeff Saturday talking to Kevin Aquaria on 107.5 The Fan Monday morning before Reich lost his job. Owner Jim Irsay announced Monday that Saturday would be the interim head coach. A poll worker could be facing consequences in Hamilton County after he was removed from an early voting site last week. Republicans are saying that worker pressured people not to vote for a Republican-backed school board candidate.
As a voter in Carmel, I want to know, was this person paid? Who referred him? What was his background? What was done to prevent this? How was he trained?
Stephanie Flittner is a candidate for Carmel Clay School Board. She spoke to WIBC's Tony Katz in the morning news this morning. Democrats say Republicans are trying to play the dirty game right before Election Day. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office is investigating. The Department of Justice will deploy election monitors to 24 states for Tuesday's midterm elections. The DOJ says it's to ensure compliance with federal voting rights laws. Personnel from the Civil Rights Division and the U.S. Attorney's offices will be monitoring the polls in a total of 64 jurisdictions, several of which are in Arizona, where there have been reports of voter intimidation at ballot drop boxes. You might not think it's possible that several Democrats could win in Indiana. Chris Davis reports on one candidate who believes some of the national pundits are wrong.
Democrat candidate for Senate Tom McDermott, mayor of Hammond, says Indiana is not a red state, but a purple one, with a message that even if he loses, he believes Indiana is still capable of electing Democrats to state office.
We used to win here, and we're going to win here again.
McDermott predicts a win for Congressman Frank Mervan, while some people believe that Republican challenger Jennifer Ruth Green could pull off a victory, unheard of for quite a while in union and industry-heavy Northwest Indiana. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:34.
Hopefully, you'll never have a house or business fire. But if you do, hopefully, you'll never forget this name. Michaelis. They can be there before that lump in your throat goes away. In fact, they're the reason it goes away. Over 35 years of helping people recover from faulty wiring, lightning strikes, or that unattended pot of pasta on the stove. Michaelis crews often roll in before the fire hoses are rolled up. Their proven process of water extraction, smoke removal, and content storage will calm your nerves. Then their talented craftsmen will rebuild your home and restore your spirits. That starts by being your advocate with the insurance company. You'll find Michaelis doesn't just feel for you, they work for you. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
The traffic at 3:35. Here's Alan Green.
Thank you, Harrison. 47 remain shut down because of a crash between 65 and 39. That's shut down both directions. 465 from Allisonville to Fall Creek backs up a little bit. 465 southbound slows 70 to Brookville and eastbound from Emerson to Southeastern. This report brought to you by Donate Life Indiana. Say yes to being an organ donor when you renew your hunting license online. Learn more at donatelifeindiana.org. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For tonight, mostly clear skies with a few more clouds later on. Low temperatures right around 40 degrees. Tomorrow, for Election Day, mostly sunny skies, high temperatures in the low to mid-60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The only way to bag a classy lady is to give her 2 tickets to the gun show.
It's Monday Gun Day with the gun guy.
Just watch out for the guns. They'll get you.
Guy Relford.
Stop calling your arms guns.
Hammer and Nigel Show, 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Guy Relford is a Second Amendment scholar, a 2A attorney, licensed firearms instructor, also at one time a young fledgling lawyer who was part of the legal team that got the Colts to leave Baltimore and come here to Indianapolis back in the early 80s. Guy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. By the way, I always exaggerate my role in that process because I
you were
can.
there.
But most importantly, thanks as always to our sponsor for Monday Gun Day, Fort Liberty Firearms in Avon. Great place to buy firearms, ammunition, and accessories. Check them out at FortLibertyFirearms.com.
Was that the worst Colts game you've ever watched in your life? Like, I think back to some bad ones, like even worse than Curtis Painter era. Even worse than that 41-0 loss in the wild card in 2003 to the Jets. That game Saturday, or that game Sunday was just abominable. Did I use that word right? Abominable?
In part because it's the Patriots, right? So you hate the Patriots, and we all went in there with some naive belief that at least we had a shot because they haven't been burning it up in Foxborough either. But there was just nothing redeemable about that game. Worst game ever? I don't know, man. I went through the 1-13 seasons and several 3-13 seasons.
The pre-Harbaugh days of the 90s where,
yeah,
there was a lot of visiting fans in the stands those years, man.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, I've been through some rough times with the Colts since 1984 when they came here. But in the modern era, that's probably the worst because 0 for 13 or 0 for 14 on third down. I mean, negative yards rushing, or negative yards passing through at least a couple of quarters when you factor in the sacks. 9 sacks. There was nothing fun about that game.
No, not at all. So let's talk about something that's possibly even worse than that, gun control. Now, Newsday put this article out saying the Democrats can win the midterms with a gun control platform.
They would?
Yeah. Remember when they had that story out there? Well, here we are, 24 hours away from midterm elections here, Guy. I want to get your reaction to that Newsday article.
Yeah, I saw that. It was interesting because they seem to be pumping up, Democrat candidates going, hey, man, don't be shy around gun control issues. You can go out there and you can spend your last 24 hours really hitting these hard because you got a chance to pull the midterms out. And they quoted some polls, and I've seen these same polls over and over where they have these nationwide polls that are population-based, and they say, oh, look, more people want gun control than oppose gun control. The thing is, when you look at the battleground states and you look at those people right now who are in tight races, whether it's in the House or the Senate, none of these Democrats in these battleground states want to take on gun control. None of them, zero. And you can see that. I mean, Pennsylvania, Ohio, you go on and look at the tight races and look at who the voters are in those states. They do not want to go down that road.
I feel like even Beto tried to back off a little bit in Texas, running for governor there. I felt like he tried to walk back.
It just cracked me up because, in the face of what we hope is a complete, red wave here, they're saying, ignore the man behind the curtain. We can still win this and we can do it on gun control. And I had to say, my initial reaction was to chuckle at it.
Right, because Beto is the face of gun control.
Sure.
And he's having his ass handed to him in Texas.
Yeah, because he finally woke up and realized he's in Texas.
Right. And people in Texas, last time I checked, they enjoy a good firearm from time to time.
Yeah, he finally woke up because again, I mean, that was his whole platform. You remember the presidential candidate debate among the Democrats where he says, "Hell yes, we're going to come take your rifle." And somebody finally tapped him on the shoulder and went, "Yo, Beto, you're in Texas."
Well, not only that, but somebody should even bigger picture. Excuse me, Beto. Democrats are gun owners too.
Yeah, well, good point. Well, and on that point, have you seen the numbers in terms of gun sales over the last not just week or weeks or months? Have you seen the trend? It's pretty dramatic.
38 straight months, I believe, gun sales top 1 million in October. That's 38 straight months. So what does this mean, if anything, as we start getting election results tomorrow?
Well, I think what's interesting is you look at this trend, and look, with COVID and all the unrest and the riots and people being murdered and businesses being destroyed, 20 and 21 set all kinds of records for gun sales. And so we're down a little bit from there. But we've maintained this trend of now, exactly as you said, Jason, for 38 straight months, we've sold the gun industry have sold over 1 million guns per month in the United States. What's that telling you is, yes, people like me are still going out and buying another gun. But what I see in my training classes, what other instructors like me see, what gun stores are telling me is we've got an incredible number of new gun owners. And if you're someone who's been kind of on the fence, or you've been in the middle, you've been neutral on Second Amendment issues, and suddenly now, for whatever reason, because you're a single mother, because the crime in your neighborhood is starting to take off, whatever it is, you've decided, no, you know what? I want to exercise my Second Amendment rights. I want to have the capacity to defend myself and my family. And all of a sudden now you see which party supports your 2A rights and which want to campaign on limiting your Second Amendment rights. I think that foretells incredibly positively for Republicans in this next election.
Are you seeing an uptick in training? Because we say all the time, if you're going to be a new gun owner, make sure you have the training to go along with it. Are you seeing an uptick of training to correlate with these sales numbers?
Oh, absolutely. I just had a gun law class, where I just teach people how to stay on the right side of the law when it comes to gun issues and what is and is not the justifiable use of force, including deadly force in self-defense. I just taught that Saturday, and we didn't have enough chairs. We cut off registration early, and we still had almost more folks than we can handle there at Indy Arms. So no, there are more and more people, more and more new gun owners. And when you have that many more new gun owners, you have people who care about Second Amendment rights. And when Democrats want to make gun control and the erosion of your Second Amendment rights one of their key planks in their platform, how do you think that plays out long term?
Hey, what's the first thing as a licensed firearms instructor, as you are? Like for a beginner course, like a guy like me, doesn't have much experience with that sort of thing. What's the first thing you teach your students? Like the first couple things, like the very first, what do you need to know right off the bat?
You got to hold it sideways like a rapper, right? That's rule number one, right?
Well, hold on. No. No. Well, it's gun safety, no question, Nigel. I mean, every lesson, I do private lessons now. I'm not teaching the group courses and actual shooting courses. I'm just teaching my gun law class, but I do private classes, and I have an awful lot of people who come in, usually couples or man or woman, and we go in. The first thing we do, we cover gun safety. What are the rules of gun safety? How do you avoid any possibility of hurting yourself or hurting another person unintentionally with a gun? So we cover all the gun safety rules. I wrote a book, Gun Safety and Cleaning for Dummies, and and I'll usually include a copy of that in the discussion. But it lays out the gun safety rules because there's these established rules. And a lot of times we just call them the 4 rules. You go through the 4 rules. If you follow those simple, easily understood, easily memorized 4 rules of gun safety, it's literally impossible for you to accidentally hurt yourself or somebody else with a gun. And so we cover that first, and then we go through safety, and then we get into marksmanship. Grip and stance, trigger control and sight picture and all those things, and get through all of that. And between the two, we can make someone safe, and we can make them a good marksman or markswoman very, very quickly. And that's why it's a lot of fun to do.
Cool.
Monday Gun Day with Guy Relford here on the Hammer and Nigel show. So the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act.
Yeah.
This is something that Todd Young has voted for. He signed off on this, and now, as a result of this, you've got the FBI getting squirrely with gun rights. Take me through this.
Yeah, I mean, this bill that passed with, I think, 12 senators, Republican senators.
Todd Young being one of them.
One of them voting for it. And again, I give him a lot of credit. He called me because I sent an email to his office saying, I really hope you voted against this. And the senator actually picked up the phone and called me. And we had a, 20-minute conversation or so. And I respected the hell out of that and the opportunity to talk to him. Obviously, I wasn't nearly as influential as I thought I was going to be because he still voted for it. But it had a whole bunch of different provisions in it. And without going through all of it, one of the provisions was looking at young gun buyers, 18 to 20-year-olds. And one of the provisions of this so-called Bipartisan Safer Communities Act is that for 18 to 20-year-olds who are trying to buy a gun in a gun store, and by definition, it can only be a long gun, because under federal law, you have to be 21 to buy a handgun. So we're talking about, a kid trying to buy his first shotgun to go, deer hunting with his dad, or to go start in sporting clays or trap or skeet, whatever it might be. And so we're talking about long guns by definition. Under this new bill, it's now the law, is for 18 to 20-year-olds, they now can expand the background check. They can look into their juvenile records. That is, things that are not a criminal conviction because they happened when they were under 18, they were juveniles. And then secondly, they can look at mental health records. And you start looking at that going, man, you're a little worried about how that could be abused. But what the FBI just put out there, and my buddies who are FFLs, who are federal firearms licensees, meaning they own a gun store, what they just got last week was a notification from the FBI, who runs the National Instant Criminal Background Check System that clears people to buy guns. And they've said for the foreseeable future, every 18 to 20-year-old who goes into a gun store and tries to buy a gun, when they go through the background check, they're going to be delayed. They're not going to be able to walk out of that gun store with that gun. They're going to delay them so that they can then, and they want their street address. I mean, gosh, what bad could come out of this?
Right.
Because that's not normally sent to the FBI as part of this process.
And our Republican senator, who's been in the military, he's a Marine, I've been told, voted for this.
He did, and now every 18 to 20-year-old who goes in to buy a gun is going to get delayed, meaning the FBI is going to spend some additional amount of time, up to 10 days, digging into their background, trying to decide if there's somebody who can buy a gun. It kind of makes a lie of the fact that NICS, the background check system run by the FBI, is supposed to be the national instant criminal background check system. Well, it's not instant if you're an 18 to 20-year-old. And if I could editorialize a little bit on Todd Young, look, he made a mistake voting for this. He catches a lot of heat for spending, obviously, including right here on this radio station. There's a lot of things that if I had him in a room, I would change about his voting record and how he approaches his job in Washington. But let me make one thing very clear, and even when I criticize him in kind of conversations like this, we need Republicans to win the Senate. We need Republicans to win the Senate. And here's why. A lot of people, think, it doesn't make any difference. I hear this all the time. They both are big spenders. It makes no difference. They're just, it's just the initial next to their name. Do you know who handles the confirmation of judicial nominees, including Supreme Court nominees? That's the Senate Judiciary Committee. Depending on which party is in power, Democrats or Republicans, either the Democrats or the Republicans run that process. As somebody who cares about the laws in Indiana, about Second Amendment rights in Indiana, we need the Republicans to win the Senate. There's no question about that. So I always want to throw that out there and say, look, I'm going to criticize people when they deserve it, but let's not forget how important it is for Republicans to win the damn Senate.
But we, the Hoosiers, need the Republicans to put better candidates out there.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Absolutely. No, but this is the candidate we got. And I know people talk about holding their nose and voting and all that. I get that. But don't forget how important it is, because you want Republicans or Democrats picking the next confirming the next Supreme Court judge. How did that go during Trump? Fabulously. How has it gone so far under Biden? Not so great. So this is huge, and it really impacts the future of this country, and I don't want people to forget that.
Where can we get more information?
RelfordLaw.com is where you always want to look for me, RelfordLaw.com.
Guy, thank you.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Indy's #1 for new country. Nobody plays
There's more new country. 97.1 Hank FM. Fancy Light.
We all want our families to be safe. However, violent crime has been on the rise in the city of Indianapolis. In 2021, Indianapolis saw a record number of homicides, and 762 people were shot during the record violence last year. How could this happen? Far-left Democrats creating poor public safety policies like reducing bail requirements and allowing violent criminals to go free. We need leaders who will stand up for us. We need Donna Shibley for state representative. Donna Shibley will close the loophole on bail requirements, and Donna will always support our brave men and women in law enforcement. That's why Donna Shibley is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, and our first responders with the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC. Let's vote for a leader who will keep our communities safe. Let's vote Donna Shibley for state representative on or before Tuesday, November 8th.
Paid for by Donna Shibley for state representative.
Fall in Indy. And since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Meet Kerry Forstall, Marion County Sheriff. He's been keeping us safe for over 30 years. As U.S. Marshal, he drove drug gangs out of town. As Sheriff, he expanded the Gang Intelligence Unit to stop violent crime. And he's cracking down on sex offenders to keep our kids safe.
As Sheriff, I won't stop. And my highest priority will be to protect our children.
Kerry Forstall. Promises made, promises kept.
Paid for and authorized by Forstall for Sheriff.
Crime is skyrocketing, our community is hurting, and Ryan Mears lets it happen. Case after case, time after time, Ryan Mears allows violent criminals to return to our streets. Enough is enough. That's why our local law enforcement has endorsed Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Cindy Carrasco will partner with law enforcement, hold criminals accountable, and make our families safe. Vote for safe streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Paid for by Cindy for Indy.
Did you know that you need to winterize your roof? Let Moss Roofing be your first call. MossRoofing.com. Call Moss Roofing before winter hits. Damaged siding can create one big winter project that you do not want to deal with, especially in that frigid cold. Moss Roofing can inspect, repair, or replace damaged siding. They can also recommend downspout extensions or top-notch gutter guards if they see any red flags during the inspection. Let's talk insulation. Investing in and reinforcing your home's insulation with Moss Roofing can reduce your energy bills and keep you warmer this winter. Whether you need to install new insulation or replace your existing insulation, you can always turn to Moss Roofing. Moss Roofing will find the solution that works best for you and your budget. The expert inspectors from Moss Roofing can identify your unique needs. Whether you need winter-ready insulation, gutters, repairs, or a replacement, the Moss Roofing team will come up with a custom winterizing plan for you. Visit mossroofing.com to get your winter prep started today.
Have an old furnace? Text the year your furnace was installed to B&W at 317-868-7900 and you could win one of 2 new furnaces right before Christmas. B&W is your American Standard Air dealer.
The Indiana Donor Network encourages you to say yes to being an organ donor when you renew your hunting license online. Learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC.
You know what? I hear that promo all the time. Faces for radio. Guess what? I got 2 damn TV shows.
I'm on the TV. We're on TV every day.
Right. At some capacity, I am on television every day. The Hammer and Nigel show does Is This Anything on Wish TV pretty much every day at 4:48. And I'm the host of All Indiana Bets on the weekends. So, see? I feel like Fredo here. I'm good looking. I'm smart. Not like everybody says. I'm good looking. All right, Alan Green, what's going on?
47 is still shut down between 65 and 39 due to a crash. 465 southbound slow 70 to Brookville. Eastbound it's tight from Kentucky to Harding and from 65 to Southeastern. And southbound 69 a delay between 96th and 82nd. This report brought to you by B-Window. Don't miss the annual B-Window Black Friday sale, up to 52% discount plus manufacturer's rebates and no payments, no interest for 18 months. BWindow.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
63 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. We got a big day tomorrow, Nige.
Yeah, election coverage all day long for the midterms, and we'll be here. I mean, we'll be all over it.
Yes, from the morning until the late evening hours, we got you covered right here. Keep your radio to 93 WIBC.
Diego Morales is living the American dream, a dream of freedom and opportunity that inspired him and his family to move to the United States more than 2 decades ago. Diego has served in the military, and he's worked in both the public and private sectors. Diego supports strong Hoosier values, and he's been a true conservative throughout his life. As your next Secretary of State, Diego Morales is committed to keeping our elections safe and secure. He will work with federal partners to push back against federal bureaucrats taking over Hoosier elections. He will work to protect and expand photo ID laws. Diego Morales will be committed to make sure in Indiana elections it will be easy to vote and harder to cheat.
I'm Diego Morales, and I approve this message because America has been good to me, and I'm ready to give back. Protecting the American dream starts at the ballot box, and it's time to make the American dream a reality for all Hoosiers. Please vote for me, Diego Morales, for Secretary of State.
Paid for by Diego for Indiana.
Come on, we're going to be late to the cookout.
I was just packing up my famous mac and cheese.
I hope you packed the Pepto, too.
Huh?
Pepto-Bismol provides fast relief from heartburn and indigestion. You know, that uncomfortable feeling after you eat too much. And after the deviled eggs, baked beans, and barbecue ribs, you're going to need it.
Barbecue ribs? I should probably pack an extra shirt, too.
Good call.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I need to turn off these news alerts. Interest rates climbing. Stocks are crashing.
I know. I stopped looking at my 401k too. Democrats in D.C. are killing the economy.
We need leaders who actually work for a living.
That's why I'm voting for an outsider, Julie McGuire.
Good point. Julie McGuire? She isn't a politician.
Julie McGuire is one of us, a common-sense conservative who understands the challenges families are facing, like inflation and education.
Yeah, and Julie's a wife, a mom, and an active member at St. Roch Church. She understands our community.
Did you know Julie is supported by first responders? McGuire's been endorsed by the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC.
Julie McGuire also backs our law enforcement officers. McGuire is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, and she'll fight to keep our schools and neighborhoods on the South Side safe.
Julie McGuire will be a great state representative.
Paid for by Julie McGuire for state representative.
Do you have a wet basement problem? Hi, I'm Mike Smith with Swanco Crawl Space and Basement Repair, Indy's most trusted basement waterproofer. Your basement is a very important part of your home. Whether it's finished or unfinished, there's nothing worse than a wet, unusable basement. Swanco's basement waterproofing will fix your wet, unusable basement permanently and forever. Protect your greatest asset, your home, by waterproofing your basement today. Call the real, local, family-owned waterproofing experts at Swanco Crawl Space and Basement Repair, 317-407-1868 or SwancoLLC.com.
From the beginning to the bell ringing and on to bigger, better things, Franciscan Health's cancer specialists in Indiana and Illinois provide care before, during, and beyond your treatment. We get to know you, your family, and sometimes even your pets. We are dedicated to fighting your cancer because your life matters. For advanced treatments, clinical trials, nurse navigators, and compassionate teams of experts who specialize in every cancer type, make an appointment at franciscanhealth.org/cancercare.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the Colts make a change at head coach and what's going on before the midterms. That's coming up after Fox News Radio. From the Shepherd Community Center studios, you're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
An appeal for patience. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
We may not know all the winners of elections for a few days.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre, some states can't start counting absentee ballots until Election Day.
It takes time to count all legitimate ballots in a legal and orderly manner. That's how this is supposed to work.
The Justice Department says it's sending monitors to 24 states to ensure compliance with federal voting rights laws, and noting that's been done for decades. The Georgia governor's race is a rematch, and Republican incumbent Brian Kemp is spending the final hours crisscrossing the state.
Governor Kemp stopped in Albany, part of a 5-city Election Day Eve tour to rally support. He says he wants to continue the path Georgia is on, saying his opponent, Democrat Stacey Abrams, is tied ideologically to President Biden.
We are working hard to help Georgia families fight through Joe Biden's 40-year high inflation because of disastrous policies in Washington, D.C.
Abrams has repeatedly been critical of Governor Kemp on several issues, most notably his stance on abortion rights.
Fox's Gernal Scott in Atlanta. Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock also hitting his Republican challenger Herschel Walker on abortion.
He demonstrated over and over again a wanton disregard, it seems to me, for women.
A reference to Walker's history of allegations from women, including 2 claiming he paid for abortions, which he denies. Former President Trump rallies for Republicans in Ohio tonight.
Trump also was the biggest fundraiser for every committee. He did 50 fundraisers for candidates across the country. He has been the MVP of making sure that Republicans get the Senate and the House.
But Republican Party Chair Ronna McDaniel not confirming reports that Trump could announce a new run for president as soon as tonight. The Dow up 425 points at the closing bell. The S&P and the NASDAQ also higher. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They've already got their man. 62 degrees and sunny in downtown Indy. Nothing on radar and a low of 41 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. The Indianapolis Colts fired their head coach Frank Reich today after losing their 5th game of the season to the Patriots Sunday.
As we all heap on, what's going on with Frank, we have to be thoughtful of the other guys as well.
Former Colts offensive lineman Jeff Saturday talking to Kevin and Query on 107.5 The Fan Monday morning before Reich lost his job. Owner Jim Irsay announced Saturday as the interim head coach this afternoon. Police have made an arrest after someone was shot and killed at a church Saturday. Jaden Arnold reports.
Saturday afternoon, just before 1, IMPD arrived to Oasis of Hope Baptist Church on East 25th Street. There they found 42-year-old Alan Jermaine Turman. He had been shot and was pronounced dead at the scene. After an investigation, police detained 35-year-old Stefan Lowe on Harcourt Road. He was arrested on account of murder. Jaden Arnold, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You may have heard about the race for Congress in Northwest Indiana. It's Democrat Frank Mervan being challenged by Republican Jennifer Ruth Green. Some people believe she could win in the traditionally Democratic district, but not Democrat candidate for Senate Tom McDermott.
I don't really believe the national narrative that Congressman Mervan's in trouble. I just don't. So I think he's going to win easily and prove to the nation and prove to Indiana that the 1st Congressional District's a Democratic district.
He was greeting early voters Monday and says he believes Democrats can win again for statewide office in Indiana. A poll worker is accused of telling voters not to vote for a Republican-backed school board candidate in Hamilton County. John Herrick reports on that candidate's response.
Dr. Adam Sharp is that Republican candidate for Carmel Clay School Board. He tells WIBC's Tony Katz that he was approached by 2 people who voted for him.
And said, the strangest thing happened. When we were walking back there, the individual who took us back conveyed to us that we shouldn't vote for you because you guys are racist and because you guys want to get rid of counselors in the schools.
Both accusations that Sharp denies. Even though the incident is being investigated, he believes this will be a free and fair election in Hamilton County. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Andre Carson is counting on you to re-elect him while he sits back and watches the mess he helped create. He's watching his groceries, gas, and housing costs skyrocket as crime is spiking and kids are being killed as our schools are failing both students and parents. And while we we suffer. Andre Carson has done nothing but collect millions of your tax dollars. That's why he is rated one of the least effective members of Congress. When are we going to demand better than Andre Carson?
Andre Carson has failed. Have you had enough yet? I am Angela Grabowski, and as a successful businesswoman, I know what needs to be done to stop inflation and bring down prices. I'm a proud immigrant, and I'm dedicated to providing opportunities for all. And I will make it a top priority to clean up the violent crime that has infested our community. A vote for me is a vote for change. I'm Angela Grabowski, a candidate for Congress in Indiana's 7th Congressional District, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Angela Grabowski for Congress, Indiana 7.
With traffic at 4:05, here's Alan Green.
Thanks, Harrison. 47 still shut down both ways between 65 and 39 due to a crash. 465 southbound is jamming up between 74 and Washington. That's where a couple center lanes are blocked with some debris. 65 southbound hits the brakes between King and the North Split. 465 southbound slows 70 to 74. This report brought to you by Fresh Time Market. This week at Fresh Time Market, save on a pint of blueberries or 6 ounces of raspberries or blackberries, just $1.88 now through November 8th. Get real. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For tonight, mostly clear skies with a few more clouds later on. Low temperatures right around 40 degrees. Tomorrow, for Election Day, mostly sunny skies, high temperatures in the low to mid-60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's
Oh, boy, I'm ready, Hammer.
You ready?
I'm fired up.
We ready?
Let's do some midterm stuff.
Polling. Debates. Fetterman.
The Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
Midterm stuff.
By the way, full election coverage all morning, afternoon, and night here on 93 WIBC. Your place to go for all things midterms, local, national. And here we go with the big one. Trump versus DeSantis? Oh,
we knew it was coming, didn't we?
DeSantis is going to be elected governor of Florida again. I don't think there's any question about that, right? But Trump was at a rally over the weekend, and just a few days, again, before the midterms, Trump called out Ron DeSantis. Listen to this.
But we have the best poll numbers. Where are they? Are they putting them up on the screen? I think so. Put them up. Look. Yeah, we're putting them up. We're winning. We're winning big, big, big in the Republican Party for the nomination like nobody's ever seen before. Let's see. There it is. Trump at 71. Ron DeSanctimonious at 10%.
Oh.
Mike Pence at 7. Oh, Mike's doing better than I thought.
Did you catch that there? Ron DeSanctimonious.
Right.
A classic Trump nickname, which is, at this point, kind of played out.
I think you're right.
I don't think there's any point. Like, he hung that out there just days before an election where the Republicans absolutely have to show unity and destroy the Democrats. And I was thinking about it. It just makes zero political sense for Trump to do that because DeSantis doesn't need Trump's approval or his endorsement to win that governor's race in Florida tomorrow. It makes no dent. It makes no difference whatsoever. And now it could open up the opportunity for DeSantis to say, hey, guys in Trump's administration were telling people to stay at home and social distance and wear masks and Fauci and Birx and forced vaccinations. I'm the guy that opened Florida back up and did away with all that crap that your administration was perpetuating during COVID. I'm just saying that's, looking down that rabbit hole of things that could spiral out of control for Trump pretty quickly. I think it was an unforced error.
The timing was so poor. Like Donald Trump's playbook, once it was primary season, was to go one by one and just pick off all the major players. Everybody had a nickname. There was Lion Ted, Little Marco. I mean, he went one by one and got rid of those folks. Low energy Jeb. But this is not the time. This is not. If you want to do all that crap, you wait till after the midterms. You officially announce your candidacy, and if Ron DeSantis wants to run against you, at that point, all's fair in love and politics. But the timing was so poor, and honestly, he was getting beat up online by this, by a lot of previous big Trump supporters, blue checkmark conservatives, a lot of famous folks on social media. They were kind of going after the orange man for that. Now, I will say this. Yesterday, he did a rally in Florida, and he was there to try to carry Marco Rubio over the finish line. He did tell people to go out and vote for Ron DeSantis.
People of Florida are going to reelect the wonderful, the great friend of mine, Marco Rubio, to the United States Senate.
I mean, little Marco?
And you're going to reelect Ron DeSantis as your governor of your state.
But listen to that crowd reaction.
Okay,
though.
that's fine, but DeSantis doesn't need Trump this time around. Trump may have gotten him elected in that state a few years ago, but Trump saying that right now makes no difference whatsoever.
Now, keep in mind, DeSantis was also not invited to that rally.
Yeah. We talked about this. Yeah, we talked about this. Right, this is a rally for little Marco. Small hands. Smell like cabbage.
So, a new NBC News poll claims that a number of record Republicans support the GOP over President Trump, meaning whoever the party wants, they will support. So let's say that it's Ron DeSantis, or it could be, I guess, anybody, but most likely Ron DeSantis. This poll, and again, consider your source, it's NBC News. Like, what the hell do they know about Republicans? But they claim that it's party over Trump here. So do you think, Nige, knowing the ego that Donald Trump has, if he is not having the success that he wants in the midterms, in the primary, and he is trailing Ron DeSantis, would he bail, run as a third party just to try to screw Ron DeSantis out of winning the presidency?
No, I don't see that happening. I don't see anybody beating Trump in a primary. I just don't see it. I think if that happens, you're going to see some other people throw their hat in the ring. I don't think it'll be DeSantis.
Do you think DeSantis should run? Because he's never going to be hotter than he is right now. You're coming off lockdowns. You're the freedom guy. Yeah. It's looking like a winnable race.
Yeah, he's got years. He's going to win the race tomorrow. He's going to be governor of Florida for a few more years. He's still young, and he's going to enjoy that red wave. He's going to enjoy the fruits of that red wave for the next 2 years. So by the time 2024 rolls around, yeah, he will probably step away and become, what am I saying? Maybe 2024, 2026, I guess is what I'm, I don't know. I feel like I'm Fetterman right now. I hit a wall. Crash.
All I'm saying is that at night with WIBC, when we put the pictures up there, who do you support? 400 strong were pretty loud for Ron DeSantis.
And it was louder than Trump.
Way louder.
It was way louder than Trump.
And if that's like this here in Indiana, which is usually a pretty safe bastion for conservatives, unless you're John McCain and you run the worst presidential campaign of all time, I wonder if it's like that in other states.
But I just don't know if you want to get into a urinating match with Donald Trump in a GOP primary.
But what if he doesn't get into it? He runs, but he doesn't take the bait. He's like, listen, he can talk all he wants. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You lose when you get into an insult contest. Marco Rubio tried it. Bush tried it. They can't do it. These guys are geeks.
Well, clap.
Right.
So what Low Energy Jeb said.
Please clap.
Yeah, defeated. Please clap. But once I've heard rumors Trump's going to announce tonight that he's running.
So it'll be soon. I think it will be soon.
And then how long does it take for others to throw their hat in the ring? I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be DeSantis, but I mean, DeSantis could have another successful few years. And then, once Trump runs runs the gamut in 2024, then he'll have his chance after that. Still a young guy.
I'm just telling you, I think there's a better chance of DeSantis beating Trump in a primary than I think you have. I think DeSantis has a shot to beat Trump in the primary. I really do. Meanwhile, on the other side, Kathy Hochul, she's the unelected governor right now in New York, and she acts like crime not a big deal. It's some sort of conspiracy theory.
Her and Bill Clinton were on stage over the weekend at some fundraiser, kind of laughing about it.
Unbelievable.
There's mocking people on the subway.
You know that it's getting bad when MSNBC is starting to call her out for things. Stephanie Ruhle had Kathy Hochul in studio, sat right next to her, looked at her right in her face and said this.
But I'm going to interrupt you then. Here's the problem. We don't feel safe. You might be working closely with Mayor Adams. You may have spent a whole lot of money, but I walk into my pharmacy and everything is on lockdown because of shoplifters. I'm not going in the subway. People don't feel safe in this town. So you may have done these things, but right now we're not feeling good. We're worried we could be San Francisco.
That wasn't Tucker Carlson. That wasn't Sean Hannity. That was Stephanie freaking Ruhle.
But you know who else it was? I don't care about MSNBC or their liberal politics or Stephanie Ruhle or whatever. Yeah, that's a New York City resident saying it, and I don't feel safe in my own city, sitting across the table from the unelected governor. And that's what it did. I mean, she said San Francisco, but she could have said Baltimore, Chicago, or Philly, or New Orleans. And it's sort of an indictment on the administration as a whole, the Biden administration and their attitude towards crime, Democrats as a whole.
And speaking of crime, coming up here just about an hour from now, a little bit over an hour, Cindy Carrasco will join us in studio. She is running for prosecutor here in Marion County against Ryan Mears. We'll talk about crime in Indy coming up. But before we do that, let's set the mood here, shall we, Nige? This is the night before the midterm elections, and I thought we could have a little story time. 'Twas the night before midterms, and all through the states, radical lunatic Democrats were all awaiting their fate. The House will go red, and the Senate just might, as Joe Biden speaks gibberish and then falls off his bike. If Republicans win big, they'll say the party is thriving. If Democrats lose, they'll all be drinking. Let's hope the Pelosi's aren't driving. There were some real zeros that need to be put into check, like crazy John Fetterman and that gross thing on his neck. There's Whitmer and Warnock and all of those that are blue. Fire Hochul, and here local, fire that bum Ryan Mears too.
Downtown is safe.
It's about crime, schools, and the economy. So happy midterm voting to all, and to all.
Hi, good night, everybody.
Little story time from the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, bravo.
Alan Green is in for Matt Baer.
Hey, we got a crash on 47 that has it shut down both ways between 65 and 39. 465 southbound stop and go from 70 to 74. And southbound also jams up from 74 to Washington, where there's some debris in the roadway. 65 southbound traffic is heavy from King to the North Split. This report brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield and the Indiana Fever aid food insecurity at Brookside School 54 at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
63 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Coming up here in just a few minutes, Tony Kennett from Chalkboard Review. He's going to break down those voting shenanigans that were happening up at Carmel. But coming up next, Is This Anything?
We all want our families to be safe. However, violent crime has been on the rise in the city of Indianapolis. In 2021, Indianapolis saw a record number of homicides, and 762 people were shot during the record violence last year. How could this happen? Far-left Democrats creating poor public safety policies like reducing bail requirements and allowing violent criminals to go free. We need leaders who will stand up for us. We need Donna Shibley for state representative. Donna Shibley will close the loop
loophole on bail requirements, and Donna will always support our brave men and women in law enforcement. That's why Donna Shibley is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, and our first responders with the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC. Let's vote for a leader who will keep our communities safe. Let's vote Donna Shibley for state representative on or before Tuesday, November 8th.
Paid for by Donna Shibley for state representative.
I have Window Nation windows. You should get in on the action before the holidays. I'm talking 2 free windows from Window Nation with every 2 you buy. Plus, pay nothing with no interest until 2025.
Listen, inflation is going up. And this weekend, those temperatures are going down. So if you're concerned about how much you're going to spend in heating and air costs over these crazy times, call Window Nation today. Get some new windows, energy-efficient windows that are going to lower your energy bills. The good air stays in your house. The bad weather stays outside. And right now, you can save thousands of dollars. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. Any style, and there's no limit. And you don't pay anything until 2025. No down payments, no interest, nothing. What are you waiting for? Even if you're just thinking about getting new windows, call Window Nation to get this deal locked in before it goes away. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com and tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
If you run a small business, you need the most from every investment. That's why Comcast Business gives you more. Like more innovation with our new gig speed Wi-Fi, plus unlimited data. More speed from the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. And more savings, up to 60% a year with Comcast Business Mobile. All from the company that powers more businesses than any other provider. When you need more, you need Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with internet and advanced security for just $40 per month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add mobile. Plus, ask how to get a $750 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 1/1/2023. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary. Compare pricing of top carriers. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Comcast Business Internet required. New Comcast Business 100 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. Equipment taxes and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep services for 12 months for discount. Results vary. Not an endorsement.
Hey, congratulations to Paul and Marcy in Indianapolis. They got married, and, they're excited to begin their new life together, right? But they had an extra condo that they needed to sell. Of course, they heard about Mark Deedle, the only real estate agent I trust, on our show. Mark knows how to get everything done. He brilliantly marketed their home, got it sold in just a couple of weeks, way over list price. Mark Deedle is the best at what he does.
Call the only agent that we recommend on the Hammer and Nigel show, and that is Mark Deedle. Mark Deedle guarantees an offer in 3 days or less for full market value, or he will list it for free. That is the Mark Deedle guarantee. Call him today, 317-755-4232, or go to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdeedle.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains, your American Standard air dealer.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything? On 93 WIBC.
Just real quick, Hammer. We were talking earlier about Donald Trump kind of insulting Ron DeSantis at a rally over the weekend, calling him Ron DeSanctimonious. People on the YouTube chat are not down with Trump at all doing that. We have people on Twitter at Hammer and Nigel. I agree. I'm over the heckling and bullying by Donald Trump. He should stick to business moving forward. And these are all people that probably voted for Donald Trump in 2016. And now they're all saying, just kind of a glimpse, the eyeball tester in the chat here. You can go to YouTube, type in Hammer and Nigel WIBC and watch the show live. They're not down with it. They're not down with it. All right. How do we play Is This Anything?
I'll run some stories by you. You break down all the information and tell us if it's anything or not.
Okay.
So over the weekend, those no good, rotten, lying, cheating, trash can banging, buzzer wearing Houston Astros won the World Series again. They defeated the Phillies. And Astros superfan and businessman Mattress Mac won the largest ever sports betting prize when the game went final. After that final out in the 9th inning and the Astros won, Mattress Mac won $75 million on a $10 million bet. Here he is making his Game 6 prediction, and then the moment he realized he had just won $75 million.
The entire city's excited about the Astros. Astros are hot. Phillies are a great team. Should be a great series. I'm predicting the Astros in 6. Go Stros! Let's go. Let's win this game and win the World Series tonight.
Yeah, that's something. $10 million to win 75. That's impressive. And by the way, Mattress Mac is like 95 years old, isn't he? This is part of his shtick. He's done this before, and it's all a part of his business down there, where it's a big promotion for his mattress company, right? So he says most of the money's going back to his customers because he ran that promo where he said if you spend $3,000 or more at his store, you can get a total refund if the Astros win the World Series.
Right.
So that's where it goes. He's a surly old bastard, too. Did you see him? He was arguing with some Philly fans over the weekend. Maybe this was from last week, and he was like walking down just down the street, and Philly fans were messing with him a little bit. He's like, F you. Go ahead, play. You couldn't hear it very well right there, but that was Mattress Mac basically telling these Philly fans, and there were police around him and stuff. And he's a wild old man.
That's how you communicate with Philly sports fans.
Sure,
though.
it is that.
That's
Yeah,
it.
F you.
You say hello by giving them the finger. That's how they greet each other in Philadelphia. Is this anything? A woman is making headlines after calling 911 on a barbecue joint for serving her pink meat. Apparently, she thought it was raw, when in reality, this is just the color that barbecue is when the meat gets smoked. Yeah. This is the actual 911 call from a customer, along with the owner of the barbecue shop explaining what happened.
911, what's the address of the emergency? Yes, can I get an officer at Clive, Cooper, and Barbecue? Yes, I had ordered some food from there, and barbecue is pink.
I kind of snickered a little bit. And I told her, I said, honey, that's when the barbecue is smoked. It turns pink. And she was insistent that it wasn't done. When the cop came in, though, he had a cute little smile on his face and rolled his eyes and just had his arms folded. I don't even think he said much to me other than, I got you.
Stop calling 911, please, when something doesn't go right with your order. Or you That's not what 911 is for.
Right.
And now it does sound like it's a little old lady that called 911.
I don't care. She's a dumbass. She's a little old dumbass. That's what she is.
Okay, but is she as big a dumbass as the British dude that called 911 because he ran out of toilet paper?
What's your emergency?
I've run out of toilet roll.
And you're calling 999 for that reason?
Oh, is this 999?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, wrong number.
Okay.
Bye.
Is she as big a dumbass as when Jesus broke into the Pizza Hut?
iPoint 911, what is your emergency? Yes, this is Jesus Christ, and I just broke into the Pizza Hut. I broke the window in, and I'm here. Jesus is here now. He's back to earth. All right, and so you don't work there? No, I just broke in, had a pizza. I'm Jesus. And what was your name again? My name is Jesus. What's your last name, Jesus? Christ. Okay, and what do you look like? I look like Jesus. What else do I supposed to look like? Why'd you do that? Because I'm Jesus, I can do whatever I want. We're tired of Judases on this earth. We're going to clean this earth up. So what are you up to? Where do you live at? I don't. I'm from heaven. How'd you get over to the Pizza Hut? I'm from heaven, sir. Okay. And did you break a front window? Yeah, I broke the door window, sir. And did you eat a pizza? Yeah. Had a Mountain Dew.
Jesus, Mountain Dew guy. Did not know that.
So, in the hierarchy of idiot 911 calls, the lady calling to complain about her raw meat at the barbecue joint is pretty low.
Yeah, she's not as bad as those folks at a Mountain Dew. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
It was another hot summer day in Evansville, Indiana. My grandmother unfolded the newspaper she had just picked up from her front stoop. A cold shiver ran down her spine. Moms and dads across America knew this was coming, but it still took her breath away. It was June 6, 1944. The headline read, Allies invade France. This is Brian Robert Singer with Singer Financial. That front page from the Evansville Courier hangs in my office hallway beside a picture of my Uncle Bob hugging Grandma's neck as he sits on her lap in his white dress Navy uniform before he's shipped overseas. Both are laughing and cherishing the moment. I never met my Uncle Bob, but every time I look at that picture, I think about the good times I had with my grandparents growing up in Evansville. And I remember my grandmother telling me more than once, one of these days you'll turn around and wonder where all the years went. Grandma was right. Time flies. But the good news is, you're the pilot. Time can't be saved or stored, and nobody has more than 24 hours each day. You're in charge of how you use the hours, days, and years you have in your lifetime. Time is a gift that can only be exchanged for something else. Sleep, exercise, travel, dinner and conversation with friends and loved ones, attending your favorite sporting events, day trips, and shopping excursions with your granddaughter. The next time you ask yourself, where did the time go? You now have an answer to your own question. I exchanged it for something else. Grandma knew, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. If you're an aspiring retiree looking for a financial planning partner who understands that the why is more important than the how, I invite you to invest some time with us discussing your next chapter in life. Call 317-852-9153 or go to singerfinancialgroup.com to schedule a visit.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Meet Kerry Forrestal, Marion County Sheriff. He's been keeping us safe for over 30 years. As U.S. Marshal, he drove drug gangs out of town. As Sheriff, he expanded the Gang Intelligence Unit to stop violent crime. And he's cracking down on sex offenders to keep our kids safe.
As Sheriff, I won't stop. And my highest priority will be to protect our children.
Kerry Forrestal. Promises made, promises kept.
Paid for and authorized by Forrestal for Sheriff.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Getting ready for Election Day. 61 degrees and sunny on Monument Circle. Radar is clear. Some clouds move in later with a low of 40. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:32. You may have heard a lot lately about the Secretary of State race. WIBC's Tony Katz interviewed the Republican and Libertarian candidates last week. Democrat Destiny Wells agreed to be interviewed by WIBC News.
We need to make our voter registration process accessible to voters. We are one of the last in the country, or 46 in the nation, in our registered voter turnout.
Wells says she is from Martinsville and her family is Republican, and that she believes she's getting support from Republican voters and elected officials. Wells says she wants to make sure that elections are safeguarded, but that the vote should be accessible. The White House is asking for patience while votes for the midterms are added up tomorrow.
We may not know all the winners of elections for a few days. It takes time to count all legitimate ballots in a legal and orderly manner. That's how this is supposed to work, and it's important for us to all be patient while votes are being counted.
Republicans argue results should be final on election night. Former Indiana Governor and Vice President Mike Pence plans to do a sit-down interview with ABC News that will air next Monday. There have been reports that Pence is considering a run for president in 2024, but he has yet to confirm those reports. He was in Michigan backing Republican candidates in the midterms last week. The Indianapolis Colts fired their head coach Frank Reich Monday after they lost their fifth game of the season to the Patriots.
As we all heap on, what's going on with Frank, we have to be thoughtful of the other guys as well.
Former Colts offensive lineman Jeff Saturday talking to Kevin and Query on 107.5 The Fan Monday morning before Reich lost his job. Owner Jim Irsay announced Saturday as the interim head coach Monday afternoon. And your stock report, the Dow was up 423 points to 32,827. The NASDAQ was up 89 points to 10,564. And the S&P 500 rose 36 points, closing at 3,806. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:34.
A ring shimmering with 3 blue sapphires for the one who's never left your side. A gold necklace with a lavender gemstone for your dearest friend. A romantic diamond bracelet for a new love. At Shane Company, we create treasures for the people you treasure. With the widest selection of fine jewelry, it'll be easy to find magical holiday gifts for your family and friends. We know your gift represents your love. That's why we put so much care into everything we make. At Shane Company, our diamonds are hand-selected one by one, so they sparkle from every angle. Our gemstones shine in a full spectrum of colors, so you can choose your ideal shade. Our cultured pearls are hand-matched, so when the light hits them, they illuminate beautifully. Visit us today. We're open every day of the week. You can also set up an appointment to meet with a jewelry consultant in the store. We offer virtual appointments too. This year, find true treasures for the ones you love.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
With traffic at 435, here's Alan Green.
Thanks, Harrison. 47 remains shut down both directions between 39 and 65 because of an earlier accident, or because of an accident still ongoing. 465 southbound slows 74 to 10th. Earlier debris has been removed from the roadway. 65 southbound is heavy between King and 70. 465 southbound tight from 70 to 74. This report brought to you by Donate Life Indiana. Say yes to being an organ donor when you renew your hunting license online. Learn more at donatelifeindiana.org. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For tonight, mostly clear skies with a few more clouds later on. Low temperatures right around 40 degrees. Tomorrow, for Election Day, mostly sunny skies, high temperatures in the low to mid-60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer's right over there with a very special guest on the DriveHubler.com hotline.
Tony Kennett is a longtime educator here in Indianapolis, specializing in STEM with IPS. He's also the man behind Chalkboard Review. Tony, let's get into it. You kind of broke the story to us this weekend that there were some shenanigans going on up in Hamilton County in regards to voting. There was a Democratic voter that was pressuring people to vote straight ticket Democrat. Take us through what happened.
Yeah, so two things there. First of all, there was several reports of an individual who was telling black voters that were coming to this Carmel Mercy Road location that they shouldn't vote for the BBS candidates over in Carmel, that slate of candidates who's running, because those individuals in the red shirts, they don't like diversity, they're racist, they're bad, which, you know, I mean, that's your decision to say if you're out on the town. That kind of a weird thing to claim of somebody. But this was an individual that was working in the election site, well within the electioneering zone. And then he also, this individual also was apparently going around taking voters to the machines. And at least with one voter, again, we'll have to wait for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department to finish their investigation. He was selecting straight Democrat voting tickets, which of course wouldn't select a school board candidate. But still, he was saying like, oh, you could select a straight ticket. And then he clicked the Democrat ticket. And the voter was confused and concerned because they couldn't back out of it. They had to call over another judge to rectify the situation.
And do we have a name of this individual, Tony?
So we do. The individual's name is James Zhang, who has since released a statement basically denying all of this stuff, even though he admits that the inspector asked him to leave. And he said, yes, and I left of my own will, and was told not to come back for a couple of days, which I also, usually when there's a felony at hand, you're not allowed to come back at all. But anywho, he was told not to come back, and he's like, that's fine. But by the way, I'm totally innocent. And in the first paragraph of his little response letter, he says, actually, it was the Republicans who were standing too close to the voting machines. I guess that's some classic whataboutism. Kind of an interesting legal strategy, I suppose.
So Tony, you mentioned the word felony. That's what we could be dealing with here, is some sort of like charge of vote tampering or something like that.
So there are two different counts that I believe in the situation we're looking at here. Again, I repeat, we need to wait for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, a very apt sheriff's department. I've worked with them before. We need to wait for them to finish their investigation. They're investigating today. They're doing their job. That's what I am waiting for before I make any firm rulings on the situation. But we could be looking at two felonies. One is electioneering inside the area where you're not supposed to be doing that. You know, there are signs and limits. And as a poll worker in 2016 and 18, I remember very specifically, you're not allowed to do that. Number two, you can't select candidates for other people on the ballot, especially if you're a judge. Being a judge makes that a felony. That's a problem.
Tony, have we heard from Hamilton County officials, not necessarily a Republican or Democratic Party? Has anybody in local government of Hamilton County come out and said anything about this?
Yes, the election administrator, she came out and said that she hopes that this individual is prosecuted, and I made sure I asked her very specifically. I said, hold the phone, just to be clear, in your official capacity as a nonpartisan election administrator, you are calling for this individual to be prosecuted. And she said, yes, under that, that's what I am calling for. And, you know, as a journalist, there's a moment when you start scribbling something down furiously. For me, that was that moment, because at that point, that's you as an election administrator have to be very certain before you make that kind of a case. Voters were upset. Volunteers were upset. The inspector at that particular Mercy Road polling place was upset.
So there were several witnesses. There were several witnesses, in other words, is what you're saying. This person you talked to saw firsthand.
That is correct. There were several individuals that are reporting on the situation. Some things are more set in stone than others, but you're not going to find me or Chalkboard Review publishing every little lead and witness remark on Chalkboard Review, because I don't like to play telephone. I don't like our team to play telephone. I like to make sure that when we publish a story, that we're only publishing the official information that we have, unless it is otherwise beyond, impertinent to the story.
Again, we're speaking with Tony Kennett from Chalkboard Review. He's got the story about a Democratic poll worker ejected up in Hamilton County, possible electioneering and pre-selecting straight Dem tickets for voters that he was trying to help. Take me through the racial aspect of this again, because it feels like that's kind of buried in this story. There is a racial aspect. What was this lunatic saying, allegedly?
Yeah, so this kind of goes back to, you and I have our Wednesday segments, right? Wednesdays with Tony, whatever. And I've told you both for several weeks that I have never seen school board elections as nasty and as vicious in all of my time in studying education and ed policy as the Northern Indianapolis elections. I remember saying that very specifically on air. This is a perfect example. This individual, and there have been several, we're not sure at this point whether it was one person or it was multiple people. Again, have to wait for the investigation. But according to voters on the scene, there was at least one individual who was telling black voters not to vote for the pro-parent Republican-backed candidates for Carmel Clay School Board because they were against diversity. They were supposedly racist. They were bad. I mean, the HS Equal PAC has been saying about Hamilton Southeastern candidates, which is one district over, that if you voted for them, you were actually sending America back 60 years into the Jim Crow era. I mean, this is insane. This is a level of vicious political tactics. Besides the fact that it's highly illegal, we haven't seen anything like that in a school board election in recent years, for sure.
Has there been a response from anybody else, like the Democrats up in Hamilton County at all?
Yeah, the Hamilton County Democrats, before their chairwoman locked her Twitter account to private, which I thought was kind of funny. The official Hamilton County Democrat statement on the situation is that this is all just a myth. So everyone is just lying. Republicans are just trying to undermine election security, which, again, I like you guys. I just want to see this investigated. I mean, and if the sheriff's department comes back and says, look, the guy didn't do anything wrong and he's clear, then the sheriff's department will have done their job. But honestly, I go back to what Tony Katz said in his response to the Hamilton County situation. If you live in that district, you need to ask a question right now. How many votes did this guy impact? And how is this going to be resolved? No matter what party an individual is a part of, if they are pressuring voters inside the polling place, or if they are, God forbid, pre-selecting a straight ticket. That's just bewildering to me. You have to wonder how much was accomplished before the individual was caught, before they were told to go home. That's why I am looking forward to, with all readiness, the investigation by the Sheriff's Department, which you'll notice the Hamilton County Democrats never mention. They don't say, hey, we look forward to the investigation. They just say Republicans are bad, and then that's the statement.
So, Tony, it's been kind of a crazy couple of months up in Hamilton County in regards to education issues. There was the younger brother of fallen officer Shauna Vaz, who came back to school and was greeted with a defund the police type of project that was there. There was a lot of chatter back and forth. The school board press representative, their PR representative, was real snarky and smart ass to the people that had questions about it. And now we've got this situation going on. What is your advice to people before they go vote in Hamilton County tomorrow if they're concerned about their kids and education?
I'm going to be very honest with both of you. Were I in those districts as a voter, and I'm not, I'm in Greenfield, but I study, and by the way, I left the ballots blank in Greenfield. I don't have any candidates in Greenfield that I currently support. They didn't run anyone that I believe is pro-parent. And that's just my personal, as Tony Kennett. If I was a voter in Hamilton County, I would probably not vote for the candidates that were backed by school boards or backed by the school board leader, Michelle Fulhard, who said that there are no long-term effects of COVID lockdowns on kids and education, which, by the way, we've found is patently untrue. I wouldn't vote for the candidates that call everyone racist. I wouldn't vote for the candidates that say basically parents need to shut up and send their kids to school. I wouldn't vote for the people who say that kids need to be burdened with surveys 24/7 instead of academics. I personally would vote for the candidates who just want to see some academic transparency and some change in how parents are represented come forward in these districts. That's what I, as a voter, would move towards.
I'm with you. I said it earlier. You said it way nicer than I did. You have to make these lunatics pay. When you go to the ballot box tomorrow, when you cast your vote, if you're tired of being called some sort of ist, if you're tired of all the bull crap in schools and the smart aleck smug attitude of some of these teachers, you have to make these school board members pay with your vote. Tony Kennett, Chalkboard Review, thank you so much for your time, my friend.
Gentlemen, you have an excellent day, and everyone go vote.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, podcasts. Listen to the station live whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel Show here. I have an American Standard air conditioner, and I loved it. Worked like a charm this summer. One of those fantastic local independent dealers in Central Indy is
Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling in Franklin. In Johnson and the surrounding counties, you can call Eric Marshall and Mark Chester at your trusted American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. If you're tired of hearing the ads on how you get a free furnace with the purchase of an air conditioner, listen, they know that's a gimmick at Marshall. What they do is they give you an honest quote in Johnson and the surrounding counties, and make sure that furnace is running safe and efficiently this fall with furnace tune-up from Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. Ask about how Marshall can help you with your indoor air quality. So if you're on the south side, call Marshall at 317-738-5940 or visit callthemarshallnow.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard.
I need to turn off these news alerts. Interest rates climbing. Stocks are crashing.
I know. I stopped looking at my 401k too. Democrats in D.C. are killing the economy.
We need leaders who actually work for a living.
That's why I'm voting for an outsider. Julie McGuire.
Good point. Julie McGuire? She isn't a politician.
Julie McGuire is one of us, a common-sense conservative who understands the challenges families are facing, like inflation and education.
Yeah, and Julie's a wife, a mom, and an active member at St. Rock Church. She understands our community.
Did you know Julie is supported by first responders? McGuire's been endorsed by the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC.
Julie McGuire also backs our law enforcement officers. McGuire's endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, and she'll fight to keep our schools and neighborhoods on the South Side safe.
Julie McGuire will be a great state representative.
Paid for by Julie McGuire for state representative.
Crime is skyrocketing, our community is hurting, and Ryan Mears lets it happen. Case after case, time after time, Ryan Mears allows violent criminals to return to our streets. Enough is enough. That's why our local law enforcement has endorsed Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Cindy Carrasco will partner with law enforcement, hold criminals accountable, and make our families safe. Vote for safe streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Paid for by Cindy for Indy.
Meet Kerry Forrestal, Marion County Sheriff. He's been keeping us safe for over 30 years. As U.S. Marshal, he drove drug gangs out of town. As Sheriff, he expanded the Gang Intelligence Unit to stop violent crime. And he's cracking down on sex offenders to keep our kids safe.
As sheriff, I won't stop. And my highest priority will be to protect our children.
Kerry Forrestal. Promises made, promises kept.
Paid for and authorized by Forrestal for Sheriff.
If you run a small business, you need the most from every investment. That's why Comcast Business gives you more. Like more innovation with our new gig speed Wi-Fi, plus unlimited data. More speed from the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. And more savings, up to 60% a year with Comcast Business Mobile. All from the company that powers more businesses than any other provider. When you need more, you need Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with internet and advanced security for just $40 per month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add mobile. Plus, ask how to get a $750 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 1/1/2023. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary. Compare pricing of top carriers. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Comcast Business Internet required. New Comcast Business 100 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep services for 12 months for discount. Results vary. Not an endorsement.
This is Ryan again, owner of Plumbing Heating Paramedics, your trained comfort specialist. Buying a new air conditioner or furnace is a big decision and can be pricey. That's why we recommend getting 3 quotes. Just make sure we are one of them. Why? Because the PHP guarantee says, if I can't beat a competitor's price by 10%, then I will give you $100. Dad always said, do quality work and serve every customer better than your competition. So let our family serve you. Visit saving10%.com and remember, it's hard to stop a train.
Hey, we're pretty social people at WIBC. You can find us all over social media. See what we're up to on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're never more than just away. Just search for 93 WIBC.
If you have a DVR at home and you have Wish TV, make sure you're recording the TV show All Indiana, because Nigel and I do a segment every single day on that program, and I think today may be some of our best work.
I don't know about that.
So make sure you set that up if you're a Hammer and Nigel fan, and enjoy All Indiana, the TV version of Is This Anything, which usually airs about 4:48-ish every day. All right, Alan Green, what's happening?
Well, 47's been reopened both ways between 65 and 39 after that earlier accident. 465 southbound slows from 70 to 74. Eastbound it's tight from Keystone to 69. 65 southbound is stop and go between King and the North Split. This report brought to you by B Window. Don't miss the annual B Window Black Friday sale. Up to 52% discount plus manufacturer's rebates and no payments, no interest for 18 months. BWindow.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates. WIBC Traffic.
61 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
I can make your hands clap. You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
This guy in Iowa clapped 1,140 times in 1 minute.
Oh, bull crap.
Broke the Guinness Book of World Records. I saw the video. He sits there and he does it. It's almost like he's rubbing his hands together, like doing this.
That's a clap?
Yeah.
See, to me, a clap is open, closed. That's a clap.
Now, this is the moment Dalton Meyer broke the Guinness Book of World Records for clapping. Listen to that.
Sounds like our wheel of sexual harassment being spun.
That's pretty good. I think it was way better than last time.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, man. You didn't slow down at all.
That was absolutely perfect.
He's a younger kid, too. It's like, got like kind of like long blonde hair. I bet you could pick up some chicks with that kind of cred in a bar. Yeah, hey, I just broke the Guinness Book of World Records for clapping.
Boy, there's another bunch of clapping jokes that I could really go down an avenue on, but I'll take the high road. I will refrain, but I believe it was Usher that said, take that, rewind it back. Usher's got the music to make your booty go clap. That's how you make a clapping sound. According to this thread on Reddit, I'm not sure how many people go on Reddit, but 12 things that people like less and less as they get older. So tell me if you agree with these things. Things that you like less and less as you get older, Nige. Number 1 was social media.
Yeah, sure.
Number 2, waiting.
I hate waiting. It makes me anxious.
Number 3, drinking alcohol. And that's where we've lost the big Nige.
I do like it less, especially getting drunk. Hangovers. That's what I don't like about the whole thing. If I could do it without the hangovers, then I'd be better.
Holidays. And it says here, as kids, it's about opening presents, having fun, and eating. But as adults, you have to be the one that cooks the big meals, organize the fun, and buy the presents.
I don't. My wife does. So I love the holidays.
You're the big kid. And lastly, again, this is on the list of things that people like less and less as they get older. Sex scenes in movies. It goes on to say, I'm at the age where I've seen boobies before. Yeah. Tell me what happens in the story next.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't think. Yeah, I think they've taken the sex. I think mainstream Hollywood has taken sex out of the movies. I really think they have.
Let the record clearly state I'm pro-sex in movies.
Okay.
I want to bring that back. If I ever run for governor, that's my platform. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
We all want our families to be safe. However, violent crime has been on the rise in the city of Indianapolis. In 2021, Indianapolis saw a record number of homicides, and 762 people were shot during the record violence last year. How could this happen? Far-left Democrats creating poor public safety policies like reducing bail requirements and allowing violent criminals to go free. We need leaders who will stand up for us. We need Donna Shibley for state representative. Donna Shibley will close the loophole on bail requirements, and Donna will always support our brave men and women in law enforcement. That's why Donna Shibley is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, and our first responders with the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC. Let's vote for a leader who will keep our communities safe. Let's vote Donna Shibley for state representative on or before Tuesday, November 8th.
Paid for by Donna Shibley for state representative.
Holiday store-wide sale. This weekend, 3 days of extra savings store-wide. That's an extra 20% off all earrings, all bracelets, all bands, all pendants, all fashion jewelry. Virtually everything in every case is on sale. The lowest prices of the year. And your last chance for store-wide savings before Christmas. You can't miss this. Engagement rings on sale. Eternity bands on sale. Exclusive designer jewelry on sale. Details at diamondsdirect.com. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. And only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
There's only one you, and you only have one heart. That's why Franciscan Health is here with the highest level of heart care that's personal, compassionate, and sensitive to your needs. Known for embracing innovative technology and advancements in care, our nationally recognized heart team is committed to helping you protect the only heart you've got. To schedule your appointment with a heart care expert or to get a second opinion, visit franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Come on, we're going to be late to the cookout.
I was just packing up my famous mac and cheese.
I hope you packed the Pepto, too.
Huh?
Pepto-Bismol provides fast relief from heartburn and indigestion. You know, that uncomfortable feeling after you eat too much. And after the deviled eggs, baked beans, and barbecue ribs, you're going to need it.
Barbecue ribs? I should probably pack an extra shirt, too.
Good call.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Diego Morales is living the American dream, a dream of freedom and opportunity that inspired him and his family to move to the United States more than 2 decades ago. Diego has served in the military, and he's worked in both the public and private sectors. Diego supports strong Hoosier values, and he's been a true conservative throughout his life. As your next Secretary of State, Diego Morales is committed to keeping our elections safe and secure. He will work with federal partners to push back against federal bureaucrats taking over Hoosier elections. He will work to protect and expand photo ID laws. Diego Morales will be committed to make sure in Indiana elections it will be easy to vote and harder to cheat.
I'm Diego Morales, and I approve this message because America has been good to me, and I'm ready to give back. Protecting the American dream starts at the ballot box, and it's time to make the American dream a reality for all Hoosiers. Please vote for me, Diego Morales, for Secretary of State.
Paid for by Diego for Indiana.
A cancer diagnosis can make time stand still. That's why it's important to access care fast. At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, you can go from making initial contact with us to sitting down for an initial consultation in just 48 hours. Guaranteed. It's faster access to the expertise and innovative treatments of the country's leading cancer center. Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Chris Davis reports on an optimistic Democratic candidate ahead of the midterm elections. That's coming up after Fox News Radio from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
A pre-election cleanup at the White House. Lisa Brady, Fox News. They're trying to clarify comments about the coal industry. Again.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says President Biden's words were twisted last week when he suggested coal plants would be shuttered across the country.
He has spent his presidency fighting for coal communities so that they too can benefit from the energy transition we're in right now.
The president was criticized by Republicans and West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin, who said the comments were outrageous, divorced from reality, and cavalier about the loss of coal jobs. The administration's energy policies amid high gas prices have emerged as a top issue for midterm election voters.
Fox's Jared Halpern. President Biden rallies for Democrats in Maryland tonight, while former President Trump holds a final midterm rally in Ohio, where political newcomer J.D. Vance is posing a strong challenge to Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan. Another closely watched Senate race is in Wisconsin, where it's been a busy final day of campaigning.
Democrat Mandela Barnes in Milwaukee.
There's a candidate, myself, who's going to look out for working people.
And Republican incumbent Senator Ron Johnson at a stop in Madison.
This election is a fight for freedom. And it's not somebody else's fight, it's our fight. And it is a fight that we absolutely must win.
In one of the toughest U.S. Senate races in the country, as the latest Marquette U Law School poll shows Johnson with a 2-point lead over Barnes, within the margin of error in an election that polling also shows the economy, education, and crime are the biggest issues facing voters here in Wisconsin.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. The new Twitter CEO, Elon Musk, tweeting a recommendation to vote for Republican congressional candidates, given that a Democrat is president. Musk arguing that shared power curbs the worst excesses of both parties. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He thinks his party has a chance. Sunny, 60 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. Radar clear, low of 40 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. You might not think it's possible that several Democrats could win in Indiana. Chris Davis reports on one candidate who believes some of the national pundits are wrong.
Democrat candidate for Senate Tom McDermott, mayor of Hammond, says Indiana is not a red state, but a purple one, with the message that even if he loses, he believes Indiana is still capable of electing Democrats to state office.
We used to win here, and we're going to win here again.
McDermott predicts a win for Congressman Frank Mervan, while some people believe that Republican challenger Jennifer Ruth Green could pull off a victory, unheard of for quite a while in union and industry-heavy Northwest Indiana. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You may have heard a lot lately about the Secretary of State race. WIBC's Tony Katz interviewed the Republican and Libertarian candidates last week. Democrat Destiny Wells agreed to be interviewed by WIBC News.
We need to make our voter registration process accessible
to voters. We are one of the last in the country, or 46th in the nation in our registered voter turnout.
Wells says she's from Martinsville and her family's Republican and that she believes she's getting support from Republican voters and elected officials. Wells says she wants to make sure that elections are safeguarded, but that the vote should be accessible. The Indianapolis Colts fired Frank Reich Monday after the team lost their 5th game of the season, giving up 9 sacks against the New England Patriots.
It's not good enough, right? I mean, like you have these expectations of this line. They had shown some improvement, but man, just a kind of a brutal game.
Former Colts offensive lineman Jeff Saturday on Kevin and Query on 107.5 The Fan Monday morning. By Monday afternoon, he was named the Colts interim head coach by owner Jim Irsay. The next drawing for the Powerball jackpot is tonight. Do you have any Powerball ticket buying rituals you follow? This man does.
We have a group of people. Everybody buys at least 5 tickets, but we spread it out during the week.
The jackpot is $1.9 billion, the largest it's ever been. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
My husband and I live next door to a haunted graveyard. It's a little creepy, but we manage. Just like we manage without home internet. Do I wish my mobile hotspot was faster? Yes, but I make it work. Kinda. Just like we make it work sleeping next to a 17th century burial ground.
Honey, can you move your hand?
That's not my hand.
It's mine.
Not having home internet? It's not that bad.
It is that bad. Don't settle. Switch to Xfinity and get 1 line of unlimited mobile and home internet together for $50 a month for 12 months. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit your local Xfinity store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New Connect Internet customers only on 1-year contract. Internet included for 12 months. New Xfinity mobile account required. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Xfinity post-pay internet required for Xfinity mobile. Additional devices extra. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of data usage. Offer ends 12/21/22.
With traffic at 5:05, here's Alan Green.
Thank you, Harrison. 65 southbound jams up between King and Meridian. 465 southbound is tight, 70 to 74. Eastbound 465, a delay from Keystone to 69. And southbound 465 from 74 to 10th, heavy from some earlier debris in the roadway. This report brought to you by Indeed.com. Make the hiring process work for you with Indeed's end-to-end hiring solution. You can attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Start at Indeed.com/credit. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For tonight, mostly clear skies with a few more clouds later on. Low temperatures right around 40 degrees. Tomorrow, for Election Day, mostly sunny skies, high temperatures in the low to mid-60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
Oh, man, we have lots to get to this hour, Hammer. A little bit after 5:30, Cindy Carrasco, the GOP nominee running for Marion County Prosecutor's Office against Ryan Mears. She'll be in studio a little bit after 5:30. Before that, around 5:20, we'll break down this Colts firing and hiring. They fired Frank Reich. They hired Jeff Saturday.
Jeff Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
The former Colts Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winner, center, and we'll get the very latest from him at about 5:20.
But right now, we are going to check in with wheelin', dealin', hair-sniffing, kiss-stealing Joe Biden.
I got hairy legs.
How many push-ups you want to do here, pal? I'm not going nuts.
I've always said, if you have to make a statement that you're not going nuts, there's a good chance you're going nuts. NBC poll says 28%. That's Joe Biden's approval rating with independents, and that is an all-time low, Nige.
Boy, yeah, a lot of independents out there wondering how they're going to vote for the midterms. A lot of independents. This is why this red wave is a referendum on Joe Biden and his administration.
Now, perhaps some of those independents live in the state of Pennsylvania or maybe West Virginia. So if you live in one of those states, or maybe you know somebody who does, how would you feel if you heard the President of the United States just a couple days before the midterms, with gas prices going through the roof, tell everybody, yeah, we're not going to be doing any drilling anytime soon.
No more drilling. There is no more drilling. I haven't formed any new drilling.
We're short on diesel. Gas prices are going through the roof.
Unbelievable.
But no drilling.
Unbelievable. We heard at the top of the hour that the press secretary says, no, that's not what he meant. It got misconstrued. No, that's exactly what he meant. These gaslighting idiots think we're all stupid. Do you hear that clip at the top of the hour, Karine Jean-Pierre? No, that's not what he said. It's being taken out of context. He's been saying it for years about drilling and coal, the coal industry and fracking. And so has that idiot Fetterman. And now they're trying to pretend like they never said it. And I got to tell you, I mean, Manchin shaking his head and giving him a big chewing out. And Democrats in particular, it's no wonder independents are at an all-time low in terms of polling for Biden.
Meanwhile, his top advisor, one of his top advisors, Keisha Lance Bottoms, the former mayor of Atlanta, went on Face the Nation on CBS. And she was talking about how people just don't realize how much Joe Biden's done because of all the, quote, misinformation flooding the airwaves.
Well, it's been a very difficult couple of years. We have been in the midst of a pandemic. There's been a lot of misinformation flooding the airwaves. We see it in ways not just on television, but we're seeing it through YouTube. We're seeing it on other social media platforms. So it is more difficult to get the message out.
What are we seeing exactly? Oh, misinformation? Does she give any specific examples?
No.
They never do.
No. Look, you can go to the grocery store and see the prices. You can see what's there and what's not there. You can go pump gas and look at the prices.
You can see how many people died in Afghanistan and the disastrous pullout for that administration. Oh, no, misinformation.
You can see the crime in major cities right now. Is that misinformation too? Ridiculous. Now, here we are, the day before the midterms, and I'm not saying the Democrats are getting desperate, but they're starting the, quote, all Republicans are Hitler line of reasoning. So Jim Clyburn, representative, he was asked about if the Republicans have a big day tomorrow. He said this, we've got the audio, quote, this could very well be the end of the world. And then he dropped a Hitler reference. He did this to Shannon Bream on Fox. And again, we're going to play you the audio. And to her credit, Shannon Bream played his audio back to him.
But losing this democracy could very well be the end of the world.
Set aside the economy, worries about crime, which are at the top of all of voter polls about what they're worried about, and instead vote for you or the world is ending?
Nobody's saying the world is ended.
You did say there, though, it could be the end of the world.
No, democracy will be ended. The world will continue to exist. The world was here before Hitler. The world was here after Hitler.
There it is.
We're talking about what kind of country we have and what kind of world we have.
Okay, Congressman, just to be clear, though, I want to read your quote. It says, but losing this democracy could very well be the end of the world. That's a direct quote from you.
But losing this democracy could very well be the end of the world. End of the world? Come on.
You just said it.
Again, what were we just talking about with Joe Biden and saying he wants to get rid of drilling and coal? What were we just talking about? And his press secretary said, no, he didn't say that. That is all misunderstood. The same thing. They do it every time. And then, the Hitler reference in there.
Sure.
That's a great strategy going into the midterms for independents.
Not the first time we've heard that from the Democrats. Everybody disagrees with me as Hitler. Big day tomorrow. And again, we've got coverage for you beginning in the morning, going all through the night here on 93 WIBC. This is the only place your radio needs to be tomorrow. Tomorrow is the midterm election. Today is the day before the midterm election. And earlier, we had a little poem to celebrate. 'Twas the night before midterms, and all through the states, radical lunatic Democrats were all awaiting their fate. The House will go red, and the Senate just might. as Joe Biden speaks gibberish and then falls off his bike. If Republicans win big, they'll say the party is thriving. If Democrats lose, they'll all be drinking. Let's hope the Pelosi's aren't driving. There are some real zeros that need to be put into check, like crazy John Fetterman and that gross thing on his neck. There's Whitmer and Warnock and all of those that are blue. Fire Hochul, and here local, fire that bum Ryan Mears too.
Downtown is safe.
It's about crime, schools, and the economy. So happy midterm voting to all, and to all.
Hi, good night, everybody.
Little story time from the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, bravo.
Alan Green has a look at the roads.
465 southbound traffic jams up pretty well between 70 and 74. 65 southbound is heavy from 21st to Meridian. 465 eastbound tight Keystone to 69. Westbound 465 between Ditch and Michigan, seeing some backups there as well. This report brought to you by Meijer. Feast for less this Thanksgiving with Meijer Grade A frozen turkey for 55 cents per pound with your additional $25 purchase. Limit 1. Save big on your Thanksgiving meal at Meijer. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now, we got sunshine and 61 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Cindy Carrasco coming up at 5:33, but coming up next to talk about interim coach Jeff Saturday and the firing of Frank Reich, we've got Kevin Bowen, who covers the Colts from 107.5 The Fan. That's next.
The Voice of Health Minute with Dr. Robert Prather of Holistic Integration.
And we are definitely in a healthcare crisis. We spend twice as much as the next country, which is Switzerland, per person. So that's not the issue. But we are dead last in outcomes, 35th out of 35 industrialized countries. The American healthcare system is broken. Pharmaceutical companies make 80% of their profit in the United States, with a tremendous amount of influence over our legislators and administration. 80% of all care should be structure function based, which is based on homeostasis and getting people well. There is definitely a place for the disease care model. That should be only 20% of our healthcare system. And the results of that would be, we've already proven 60% savings in costs, so it costs less, and an 85% improvement in outcomes.
The Voice of Health with Dr. Robert Prather, Sundays at 8 p.m. or anytime at thevoiceofhealthradio.com.
If you want a winning retirement strategy where you can bring your dreams to life, that's exactly what you need, a strategy, a plan. And you also need a great coach, a manager, an expert who has the advantage and perspective and experience and expertise to help you win, and maybe call an audible or two when the market or the circumstances change. And that's where the Singer Financial team comes in.
20 years from now, what do you want to be doing? Do you want to be fully retired? Do you want to have a work optional lifestyle? How about a nice little home in Florida? Perhaps the mountains of Tennessee, maybe here in Indy, close to family. Whatever your vision of retirement is, let the Singer Financial Group help you out. They'll customize a plan specifically for you, but you have to get the ball rolling with a phone call. 317-852-9153. That's 852-9153, or go to singerfinancialgroup.com. Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LL3, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Andre Carson is counting on you to re-elect him while he sits back and watches the mess he helped create. He's watching as groceries, gas, and housing costs skyrocket, as crime is spiking and kids are being killed, as our schools are failing both students and parents. And while we suffer, Andre Carson has done nothing but collect millions of your tax dollars. That's why he is rated one of the least effective members of Congress. When are we going to demand better than Andre Carson?
Andre Carson has failed. Have you had enough yet? I am Angela Grabowski, and as a successful businesswoman, I know what needs to be done to stop inflation and bring down prices. I'm a proud immigrant, and I'm dedicated to providing opportunities for all, and I will make it a top priority to clean up the violent crime that has infested our community. A vote for me is a vote for change. I'm Angela Grabowski, a candidate for Congress in Indiana's 7th Congressional District, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Angela Grabowski for Congress, Indiana 7.
Crime is skyrocketing, our community is hurting, and Ryan Mears lets it happen. Case after case, time after time, Ryan Mears allows violent criminals to return to our streets. Enough is enough. That's why our local law enforcement has endorsed Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Cindy Carrasco will partner with law enforcement, hold criminals accountable, and make our families safe. Vote for safe streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Paid for by Cindy for Indy.
Come on, we're going to be late to the cookout.
I was just packing up my famous mac and cheese.
I hope you packed the Pepto, too.
Huh?
Pepto-Bismol provides fast relief from heartburn and indigestion. You know, that uncomfortable feeling after you eat too much. And after the deviled eggs, baked beans, and barbecue ribs, you're going to need it.
Barbecue ribs? I should probably pack an extra shirt, too.
Good call.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, save up to 50% on all Lazy Boy and Smith Brothers of Bern, plus an extra 10% off your first item and an extra 15% on all additional items. Buy more, save more sale. Now through Monday, only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery. Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus will save you money.
The Indiana Donor Network encourages you to say yes to being an organ donor when you renew your hunting license online. Learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains, your American Standard air dealer.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here with a very special guest on the DriveHubler.com hotline.
I feel like this man needs a beer after the day he's had today covering the Indianapolis Colts. Kevin Bowen from our sister station, 107.5 The Fan, does the morning show over there, Kevin and Query. Where the hell do we start here, KB?
IU basketball at 6 o'clock. IU kicking off their season tonight. What do you think?
Oh, man. Yeah, I thought about a shot of Everclear at lunch. I thought, maybe that'll be the right dose.
No, but the firing of Frank Reich, the Colts head coach, and then the hiring of interim head coach Jeff Saturday, former Indianapolis Colt and Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, it's a soap opera. It's a soap opera on West 56th Street. That's how much I can just sum it up. Days of Our Lives, Journal Hospital, As the World Turns. I'm just picturing an hourglass on Jim Irsay's desk right now. It's a dysfunctional organization, and it begins at the top. Just think about 2 weeks ago. This team was in Tennessee, a game in back of the Titans, playing a massive regular season game. And since then, the head coach has gone from Frank Reich to Jeff Saturday, who's a great human being but has never coached in college or the NFL. The offensive coordinator, we don't know who that is. We don't know who will be calling plays on Sunday in Las Vegas. And then lastly, the quarterback has gone from Matt Ryan to Sam Ehlinger. So it's in shambles, and there's so many questions that need to be asked and don't have the answers.
So how much of this Jeff Saturday move, KB, do you think is Jim Irsay looking at the Titans, seeing that they've got a guy in Vrabel who used to play and, had a little coaching experience, I guess, but not a lot? Is Irsay trying to find his Mike Vrabel with Jeff Saturday?
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of truth to that. I mean, I do think Vrabel had a little bit more of an extensive NFL coaching resume than clearly Saturday. I don't think I saw a stat like Jeff Saturday is the first coach since 1960 to be hired without college or NFL coaching experience. I think what Jeff Saturday means to Jim Irsay right now is this. 50% of it, he's a glorified consultant to the Colts operation right now. He's a very trusted, confident. I mean, think back to the labor negotiations between the NFL and NFLPA over a decade ago. Without Jeff Saturday involved in those, Who knows what happens to the NFL during that lockout of the 2011 off season. And then the other half of it, this is a legit audition to see if Jeff Saturday wants to be an NFL head coach and is qualified, I guess, to be an NFL head coach. Like it's both of those things. Jim Irsay is a hopeless romantic, and he wants the previous era, the greatest era, Peyton, all of that, Ring of Honor. Think about that. 2 weeks ago, he had all those guys.
Yeah.
In his stadium. He gets caught up in that stuff, and I think there's so much of that here. And he's looking at it as, the season's pretty much over. Here's 2 months to see if Jeff Saturday can, drum up some Hollywood script.
Were you surprised at all that the general manager, Chris Ballard, was not affected? Like he wasn't fired either?
Yeah, a little bit. I will say, Nigel, it's a lot more common for coaches to get fired in season than GMs. So I'm curious to see at tonight's press conference, how Jim Irsay will answer that question with Ballard. Because I want to make this very clear. There was merit for Frank Reich to be fired, but to put all of the blame on his plate would be ludicrous. You did not give him enough ingredients in the kitchen, if you will, to properly cook up the type of meal that you want to. Chris Ballard's biggest core belief is the offensive line. Do we need to go back and watch yesterday's game?
No, please. Do you hate us, KB? I thought we were friends. Don't make me watch that crap again. Stop.
Yeah, well, I have that Everclear hammer, so I can just point that over to you if we're going to watch it together. So, again, both of them, had clear stains on their resume. Irsay's always had an affinity for Ballard. He hired him a full year earlier than Reich. He called him the greatest hire of the 21st century. I'm very curious to see what will happen from here. Because, honestly, this Jeff Saturday hire, if I'm Chris Ballard, I'm kind of looking around like, oh, this is awkward. We have Jeff Saturday on our morning show every single Monday. We had him on today, 3 hours before this news became public, which is wild to think about it. And Jeff has expressed a desire, I probably should say teams have reached out to him about being in a front office role. So does he get to the end of the year and say, I don't really love the coaching, but, man, that front office role could be interesting? All thoughts have been running through my head today.
Interesting. Kevin Bowen with us from 107.5 The Fan. Frank Reich fired the new interim head coach as Jeff Saturday. KB, you mentioned Irsay is a bit of a romantic when it comes to those glory years of the Indianapolis Colts. Do you think he made a phone call to Peyton Manning for some role in this organization?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, he certainly has made quite a few of those phone calls over the years. I would be a little surprised if he did not call Peyton Manning in the last 48 hours. I'm also curious, again, how long did these conversations go on? I would not be surprised if these conversations went on prior to Sunday's result. And so, again, Peyton, I think, would be one of the first people you'd call. If I'm Reggie Wayne, I'm probably sitting on that coaching staff thinking, hello. You want to go back to the previous era.
Yeah, that's a great angle. What do you think the reaction is going to be like on the sidelines? Not only from the players who now have a coach that doesn't have any coaching experience to what would be Jeff Saturday's underlings, all the assistant coaches. What do you think the reaction is going to be there in the locker room?
Yeah, I think staff members are irate. I think players are shocked. Players are like, what? I mean, I thought Hard Knocks was last year. They have to be. I mean, think about the stat I threw at you guys earlier. 1960, the last time you got to go back where teams made a hire that, no NFL or college experience. Hebron Christian Academy, guys. That's the resume I've been looking up for Jeff Saturday. 3 years at the helm there, 20-16. They did win a playoff game. That is his coaching resume. So he goes from Hebron Christian Academy to now coaching against the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday. And I don't know if you guys saw the tweet earlier, but nothing says a great scouting report like this. Jeff Saturday tweets a week ago Sunday, Raiders look horrible.
And that's who we play on Sunday.
There you go, Jeff. Here comes your NFL debut against the horrible Raiders this Sunday. Don't think Frank Reich provided a lot of candor like that during his 5 years.
Did the Indianapolis Colts just become more interesting? Or because now I'm really tuning in this week. I was disgusted watching that game. That's the worst game I've ever fallen asleep to. Actually, but now I'm actually kind of piqued my interest this weekend.
Yeah, a daylight savings nap for Nigel yesterday. I think many of my neighbors were out doing leaves during the second half.
Yep.
I said this a lot on the show earlier today, the fact that the Colts are so boring pisses Jim Irsay off. There's an element, I think, when you're an owner of a franchise, and this goes for an owner of any entertainment business, you have to be appealing, exciting. Apathy is the last thing you want, and the Colts were there. The Colts, we scoring, they're second to last, I think, in the league in scoring so far this season. Just had their worst offensive outing ever in the Indianapolis Colts era on yesterday with 2 yards per play. So if there's nothing else, yes, this does create a news cycle. This does create some entertainment, all of the above. I find it very interesting that Josh McDaniels is the opposing coach this Sunday as you face the Raiders, and him leaving the Colts at the altar started all of this. So yeah, if nothing else, it is that.
I'm sure you'll have more of this tomorrow on 107.5 The Fan. Kevin and Query. That is Kevin Bowen. KB, thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep, see you guys.
All right, coming up next, in studio, Cindy Carrasco. She is running for prosecutor here in Marion County. Nigel, we've been talking about this race a lot. I think it's the race in Central Indy. We'll talk to Cindy when we come back. Right now, we'll take a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
From one coach to the next, 58 degrees, mostly sunny downtown. Radar is clear. Some clouds move in tonight, a low of 41. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:29. The Indianapolis Colts fired their head coach Frank Reich today after they lost their 5th game of the season Sunday to the New England Patriots.
As we all heap on, what's going on with Frank, we have to be thoughtful of the other guys as well.
Former Colts offensive lineman Jeff Saturday talking to Kevin and Query on 107.5 The Fan Monday morning before Reich lost his job. Owner Jim Irsay announced Saturday as the interim head coach Monday afternoon. The White House says Americans should have confidence in the nation's election system as the midterms are just a day away.
Having the right to vote is the most sacred right, and people should really exercise that right, and they should feel safe in their election process.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the Biden administration has been taking actions to counter foreign interference in U.S. elections. Secretary of State candidate Destiny Wells says she may have been misunderstood and that she doesn't want to frivolously register voters from other states in Indiana.
I believe that statement was probably made after I said that our laws are open to college students being able to register to vote here. They have that option.
The Democratic candidate tells WIBC News she believes she's getting support from both Republicans and Democrats. The Secretary of State oversees the election process. A man from New Albany has been arrested on child molestation charges, Donnie Burgess reports.
The suspect is Todd Lewis, a 31-year-old man accused of molesting a child under 14 years old. Sergeant Kerry Hulse with State Police.
So the investigation began back in early October when the mother of the victim contacted Indiana State Police.
The child told investigators the abuse happened 4 years ago over the course of several months. Lewis faces 4 counts of child molesting. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
With traffic at 5:31, here's Alan Green.
Thanks, Harrison. 465 southbound slows up from 70 to 74. Westbound 465 hits the brakes now from Westfield to Ditch. 65 southbound a backup from 21st to Meridian. And on 465 eastbound Keystone to 69, some brake lights. This report brought to you by Donate Life Indiana. Say yes to being an organ donor when you renew your hunting license online. Learn more at donatelifeindiana.org. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For tonight, mostly clear skies with a few more clouds later on. Low temperatures right around 40 degrees. Tomorrow, for Election Day, mostly sunny skies, high temperatures in the low to mid-60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Also joining us live in studio is Cindy Carrasco, running for Marion County prosecutor. Nice to have you in studio for once.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
In person.
It's so great to be here in person as the last few hours of this campaign start to wind down. Thanks for having me.
Well, tell me first, I've said this from the beginning. I think this is the most important race in the state. I mean, I know there's bigger races. I mean, I know, Secretary of State, Senate,
US
whatever. But
Senate, right.
But I think this is the race, this capital city, especially as we surpass 200 murders, 200 homicides in this city, Cindy. How are you feeling about the campaign, and what are your thoughts as we head into the election day tomorrow?
You're exactly right. There is no more important race than this prosecutor's race. And the reason is that we have had in the city of Indianapolis over 200 people killed in our city for the third straight year in a row. Things have to change. And when you talk about elections, we talk about at the elections at the federal level, the Senate races, the congressional races. And yes, those are all great and they do have an impact. But let me tell you, who your next prosecutor is going to have a tremendous impact on your everyday life. That's why I'm running. I loved my job. I loved my career, but I decided to take a step back from that so that I could run for this office because I was fed up with the crime that was happening in our city. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a resident of Marion County, and I just want to see our city back to be vibrant. I want us to be able to be on an upward trajectory, and we can get there. We have the opportunity to do that, and all of the voters in Marion County have the opportunity to make a change. So we need you to go out there and vote. It's so, so important. If you want change, you need to vote for Cindy for Indy.
Cindy, when you or your campaign staff has been out, whether it's knocking on doors, doing community events, what's been the response when you've been in some areas that are traditionally Democrat? If you've gone into the black communities, if you've gone into areas of high crime around the city, places that traditionally just vote blue, what's been the response?
Well, when I first started thinking about even running for this race, people said, Cindy, you're great, but this is a blue county, and I don't know that you necessarily have a shot at doing this. But as I went out, I very much I'm a worker. I work really, really hard, and I've gone to places where other Republicans haven't gone, and I do that because we represent all of Marion County, and in order for us to get across the finish line, we need everybody's buy-in to start to change the trajectory of our city. And so all of those conversations, I kind of was gearing myself up to say, hey, well, I'm a Republican, but this is not a Republican issue. I can tell you 99% of the conversations that I've had in every community have not been about politics. Because when it comes to public safety, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're not even political at all, we all want the same thing. We want to be able to go home at night, shut the door, and feel safe. That's not about politics. And the conversations that I've had with people across the entire county of Marion County has proven that that is the case.
And do you feel like crime is the number one issue?
It's
polling across the United States, it's an issue. Certainly here in Marion County, where you're running for prosecutor, I think that's number one.
It's number one. What people have been telling me is they used to hear about crime happening. After all, this is a major city. They knew that there was going to be crime, but they'd turn off the TV and it was kind of out of sight, out of mind.
I think the thing that floors so many people, Cindy, I'm sorry, is that we're not that far removed from hosting a Super Bowl here, where at night this was the most vibrant, fun place in the world. And in just a few short years, this city has deteriorated to the point where we currently have a higher homicide per capita rate than places like Chicago.
That's right. And you are exactly right. That's what I continue hearing from people saying. Our city was just beautiful. What happened in such a short amount of time? What can you do, Cindy, to actually start changing what's happening with our city? And 9 times out of 10, these conversations with people are very much about wanting change. People are tired of the violence. They're seeing the violence touch them closer and closer and closer. Now they don't just turn off the TV. Now they know somebody. Now they have a neighbor. Now they perhaps themselves have been a victim of crime. So the circles that are coming closer and closer and closer, affecting crime to each one of the people here in Marion County are significant, and people are tired. They want change.
And what kind of change needs to happen?
we need to go back to doing the job of the prosecutor, right? The job description is in the title, prosecuting crime. We've got to get to holding repeat violent offenders accountable. Make no mistake, that makes a difference. If we continue to let violent repeat offenders who have committed not 1, 2, 3 offenses, I'm talking about people who have 10, 12, 13, 14 different offenses on the book, and we think that sending them back home is going to somehow change the circumstances of our city. We've got to stop cutting those deals with these folks, and we got to make sure that there is accountability, especially for these repeat violent offenders.
Cindy Carrasco is our guest. Cindy for Indy is the website, Cindy with an I. Now, your opponent, the incumbent, he's going to argue that, well, it's other judges. It's literally everybody else's fault except for his as to why some of these violent repeat offenders keep getting back out on the streets. What's your response to that?
You know, we've had the 3 worst years in crime in Indianapolis in history. And it's no coincidence that it's been the 3 years that my opponent has been at the head of that office. That office is lacking leadership. There are simple things that we can do, like getting that office back to doing the very basic fundamentals that can actually impact change. I've not once since he's been in that position heard him take responsibility for anything. It's always either the judges, it's either the law, it's the legislature, it's someone else. We need somebody who is going to be a prosecutor and take charge of the situation and say, what can I do to start to effectuate change? What can I do to influence those judges to make sure that they have all of the information that they need so they can make good decisions? What can I do to help improve my community the right way, not by picking and choosing which laws to enforce or ignore?
Cindy, is there anything you could learn or you learned from, say, that radical prosecutor in San Francisco, Bowden, getting recalled? Is there anything that you can learn from what's going on in this gubernatorial race in New York right now, neck and neck, Zeldin and Hochul? What does that say? I mean, is there anything you can take from I don't know, it seems like people are kind of waking up around the country to what's going on. Is there anything you can learn from some of those things that have happened to those other prosecutors?
That's right. I can tell you that it re-emphasizes my belief that this issue of public safety is not a partisan issue. Because even, like you said, in these very liberal cities like San Francisco and New York City, you've got people who say, okay, this is going too far. The pendulum has swung too far to the other side. We do need some law and order. And I don't want Indianapolis to become the next San Francisco or Chicago. I don't want us to hit a rock bottom for us to be able to say, hey, you know what? We do need someone who's going to be able to enforce the laws and do the job of the prosecutor.
So, Cindy, we're about 24 hours away from the polls closing here in Indiana. What's your message to those independent voters or maybe Democrats who have traditionally voted blue? Why should they take a chance and vote for you?
My message to them is, number 1, to go out and vote. And number 2 is think about the conversations that you've been having with your neighbors. Think about the conversations that perhaps I've had with you. Think about the individual candidates and think about the commonality that we've come to where you say we're fed up with the violence. And make sure that you're choosing the candidate that is going to make a difference in the violence that has plagued our community. Don't let politics necessarily dictate exactly the ballot that you're going to pull. Amplify your voice. Make sure that your voice is being heard, especially on this very important topic of crime. So look at the candidate, look at the individual. I hope that I earn your vote. I hope that you go out to vote. And for everybody who's listening today, please go out to vote. We can get there. We see a path to victory, but we need you.
Got to show up and vote.
That's
the
right.
voting numbers are stacked against Republicans in Marion County. But as you said, Cindy, this is a race that's not even about politics anymore. This is about public safety in Indianapolis, and you have to get out and you have to vote. Real quick, I know we're at the end of the line in terms of your campaign. Tell us about the campaign staff that's worked with you.
Oh, my goodness. I hit the jackpot with my team. I have got the best team running this campaign. They believe in making change for the city. They believe in me. They have been working 24 hours nonstop, especially these last few days. They're now family, whether they like it or not. And my ultimate campaign, quote unquote, staff is my family. My husband, none of this would have been possible without him. He's
an old radio guy, right?
He is an old radio guy. That's how we met. We met on the radio. He's just amazing. And my daughter, she's turning 10 on the 17th, and so she can't wait for the election to be over so we can focus on the real things, like her birthday.
Right, of course. Cindy for Indy.
Thank
That's
you,
Cindy
Cindy
with an I. Thank you so much, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
I'd rather be folding laundry.
This is gonna be fun.
Said no one ever. Also, no one enjoys wasting time in traffic. That's why we love saving you time. Matt Baird Traffic.
Backups are already starting.
On 93 WIBC.
Gentlemen, don't let the year end without you getting your levels checked. There's a lot of people out there talking about testosterone, but do your homework and be sure to go to a provider that you can absolutely trust. We recommend here at the Hammer Nigel Show, Low T Center, and they specialize in men's wellness, but they don't just concentrate on low T. They can check your numbers like low thyroid, sleep apnea. They can check out your good cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, all the numbers you need to know to stay healthy from Low T Center.
What I love about the Low T Center is that it's covered by most health insurance. Worst case scenario, it's less than $100 cash pay. That is well worth it to have your prostate, thyroid, liver, kidney, glucose levels all checked out by professionals. The Low T Center, they've got a couple locations. They specialize in men's health. Check it out right now. LowTCenter.com. Book your appointment online. Get that healthcare exam scheduled. LowTCenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Is your financial portfolio crash-proof? Dan Dockage here for Crown Haven Wealth Advisors. Crown Haven's goal is to help as many people as possible create the retirement of their dreams with zero downside risk, all while producing income as long as you live. Right now, Crown Haven is offering to run a free stress test on your investment portfolio and prepare a retirement income analysis for free. So now, this best-kept secret for retirement planning in Indiana is no longer a secret. Crown Haven will produce straightforward solutions, custom tailored to your retirement. Reduce risk, minimize taxes, maximize returns. Look them up right now at crownhaven.com. Get Crown Haven's free third-party analysis for your current investment portfolio to see where it could be done better. Crown Haven is working for me. They can work for you. Go to crownhaven.com or give them a call right now at 765-522-7233, 765-522-7233. Tell them Dan sent you to Crown Haven Wealth Advisors.
Meet Kerry Forrestal, Marion County Sheriff. He's been keeping us safe for over 30 years. As U.S. Marshal, he drove drug gangs out of town. As Sheriff, he expanded the Gang Intelligence Unit to stop violent crime. And he's cracking down on sex offenders to keep our kids safe.
As Sheriff, I won't stop. And my highest priority will be to protect our children.
Kerry Forrestal. Promises made, promises kept.
Paid for and authorized by Forrestal for Sheriff.
We all want our families to be safe. However, violent crime has been on the rise in the city of Indianapolis. In 2021, Indianapolis saw a record number of homicides, and 762 people were shot during the record violence last year. How could this happen? Far-left Democrats creating poor public safety policies like reducing bail requirements and allowing violent criminals to go free. We need leaders who will stand up for us. We need Donna Shibley for state representative. Donna Shibley will close the loophole on bail requirements, and Donna will always support our brave men and women in law enforcement. That's why Donna Shibley is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, and our first responders with the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC. Let's vote for a leader who will keep our communities safe. Let's vote Donna Shipley for state representative on or before Tuesday, November 8th.
Paid for by Donna Shipley for state representative.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers. E-waste piling up? Visit tech-recyclers.com.
Feast for less this Thanksgiving with Meijer Grade A frozen turkey for 55 cents per pound, limit 2. Save big on your Thanksgiving meal and holiday shopping at Meijer.
The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, podcasts. Listen to the station live whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com.
Alan Green's got a look at the roads.
Thank you. 465 southbound still jams up from 70 to 74. 65 southbound a back up between 21st and Meridian. 465 eastbound is slow from 31 to 65. And 465 from Keystone to 31, some delays there as well. This report brought to you by B Window. Don't miss the annual B Window Black Friday sale. Up to 52% discount plus manufacturer's rebates and no payments, no interest for 18 months. BWindow.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
60 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center on 93 WIBC. Okay, got IU basketball coming up at 6 o'clock. And if you missed our conversation with Cindy Carrasco, running for Marion County Prosecutor, that should be up by now, WIBC.com. Just go to the Hammer and Nigel show. Have you seen any movies lately?
Man, I haven't had time to watch anything, not even really any TV. It's been news, sports, and that's pretty much it.
The only time you've been to the theater this year is Top Gun, correct?
Early in the year, I saw the new Jackass movie.
Oh, okay.
It was like February or March.
Oh, you were up in Fort Wayne or something like that, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard of this one with The Rock? It's number one at the box office for the third straight week. It's called Black Adam. It's like a DC superhero flick. Black Adam.
I've heard about it. Now, again, I'm not much into these comic book type movies. Like, I have nothing against them. I'm so far behind, I don't even know who these people are.
137 million so far in America, 319 million globally, so that's pretty good, I guess.
Is that because of the story or people like The Rock?
I think both. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a comic book superhero, DC Comics or whatever. Abdul could tell you a lot more about it than I can. I guess The Rock plays maybe some sort of anti-hero almost. So that's number one. Tell me if you heard any of these others, the top five. The anime musical One Piece film Red.
What the hell are you talking about?
Sound like Fetterman. Like I'm just saying random things.
One Piece Red.
One Piece film Red.
No, I've not seen the animated anime film. No.
What about? Oh, good Lord! Ticket to Paradise.
The Eddie Money story. Because if that were the case, I'd be there to see that.
First of all, that'd be 2 tickets to Paradise if that were the case. But no, this is the Julia Roberts, George Clooney rom-com.
You couldn't get me to watch that movie if, like, Julia Roberts was popping out of the screen doing all types of interesting things.
But that's the thing, that controversy with the gay-themed movie a couple of weeks ago called Bros, and how the director called All of America a bunch of homophobes because it bombed in the box office.
Right.
I don't care whether it's 2 gay dudes or a man and a woman. I don't like those kinds of movies.
Right.
Either way.
Would you rather go see the Julia Roberts, George Clooney rom-com or that anime thing that you told me about earlier?
I'd rather jump off the top of this building head first. All right, IU basketball is next. We'll talk to you tomorrow. 93 WIBC.
Hello. This is Andre Carson, and I'm happy helping Hoosiers every day. I am proud to have passed 19 bills to improve the lives of all Americans, and I'm bringing money back to where it belongs, right here in Indianapolis. Recently, I worked to secure over $500 million for our city through the American Rescue Plan and direct funding to local organizations working on mental health, crime reduction, and job training. I'm Andre Carson, and I pledge to keep fighting for all Hoosiers. Be sure to vote on or before November 8th.
Paid for and authorized by Andre Carson for Congress.
Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg, Central Indiana's premier arms dealer. They have over 1,200 firearms in stock, the largest selection of used firearms in the area, from pre-Civil War to modern guns. Premier Arms has always put their customers ahead of their profits. That's why they never increased their margins during the COVID pandemic. They always have ammunition available when a customer buys a firearm. Everyone can find what they're looking for at Premier Arms in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street. Find them online at premierarms.com. Premierarms.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you.
I need to turn off these news alerts. Interest rates climbing. Stocks are crashing.
Oh, I know. I stopped looking at my 401k too. Democrats in D.C. are killing the economy.
We need leaders who actually work for a living.
That's why I'm voting for an outsider, Julie McGuire.
Good point. Julie McGuire? She isn't a politician.
Julie McGuire is one of us, a common-sense conservative who understands the challenges families are facing, like inflation and education.
Yeah, and Julie's a wife, a mom, and an active member at St. Rock Church. She understands our community.
Did you know Julie is supported by first responders? McGuire's been endorsed by the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC.
Julie McGuire also backs our law enforcement officers. McGuire's endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, and she'll fight to keep our schools and neighborhoods on the South Side safe.
Julie McGuire will be a great state representative.
Paid for by Julie McGuire for state representative.
Meet Kerry Forrestal, Marion County Sheriff. He's been keeping us safe for over 30 years. As U.S. Marshal, he drove drug gangs out of town. As Sheriff, he expanded the Gang Intelligence Unit to stop violent crime. And he's cracking down on sex offenders to keep our kids safe.
As sheriff, I won't stop. And my highest priority will be to protect our children.
Kerry Forrestal. Promises made, promises kept.
Paid for and authorized by Forrestal for Sheriff.
Crime is skyrocketing, our community is hurting, and Ryan Mears lets it happen. Case after case, time after time, Ryan Mears allows violent criminals to return to our streets. Enough is enough. That's why our local law enforcement has endorsed Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Cindy Carrasco will partner with law enforcement, hold criminals accountable, and make our families safe. Vote for safe streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Paid for by Cindy for Indy.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
More than 100 million wild animals are killed each year, illegally. Poaching is just one of the risks animals face at our hands. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor. I grew up in the beautiful rural countryside of Ohio, where animals roamed freely in the open forests. I have a deep concern to help preserve those open spaces for our wildlife friends, so they can live and thrive like they used to. Destruction of their habitats threaten their very existence. The best way to protect wildlife is to protect the land where they live. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats, and establish permanent sanctuaries. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE. Or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Is the American dream, but today's economy is challenging. Have you fallen behind on your mortgage payments? Many homeowners facing financial difficulty often feel lost and don't know where to turn for help. The airwaves are filled with offers of fast and simple relief. However, many find these offers often lead to damaged credit, higher debt, and ultimately the loss of one's home. If it seems like there's no way out, know there is legitimate help available. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling is a nonprofit organization that has provided answers and concrete solutions to consumers in situations just like yours for more than 60 years. Our certified housing specialists will work with you to review your finances and create a custom plan that's right for your specific situation. NFCC member agencies provide free and affordable help and meet U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development standards. Call 866-687-6322 or visit mortgagehelpnow.org.
Parents, teachers, school board members,
Do you want your school to experience the richness of academic freedom or the constraints of a one-size-fits-all federal mandate called Common Core Standards? Advocates for Academic Freedom is for educational excellence and local control of your school. Come join the fight for your children's education. You can contact us at advocatesforacademicfreedom.org or call 1-715-234-5072.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio. I'm Alex Brown. IU Health Saxony Hospital COO Chad Dilley says the $300 million expansion of the hospital is designed to not only grow the number of inpatient beds, but provide greater service for women and children. The health system on Friday broke ground on the project, which will rename the facility to IU Health Fishers Hospital.
One thing that I think is going to be very unique when you first enter is going to be a women's health focused area where we will have mammography, a breast clinic, and an OBGYN clinic right next to each other.
The expansion, set to open in 2025, will also include a new Riley Children's Health Emergency Medicine Department. Whiteland Raceway Park in Johnson County has broken ground on a multi-million-dollar expansion of its facility and track. The project, expected to be complete by next April, includes the addition of nearly a half-mile of track, 7 new turns, and 28 additional garages. Frank Reich has been fired from his post as head coach of the Indianapolis Colts after a 26-3 loss to the New England Patriots on Sunday, dropping the Colts to 3-5-1 this season. The Colts have also named 5-time Pro Bowler Jeff Saturday as interim head coach. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
CenterPoint Energy's newest generation of safe, efficient energy includes capturing and harnessing the natural power of pure sunshine. We are increasing solar in our balanced and reliable energy mix as we power our region with more clean, renewable energy. We're bringing a little piece of the sun to every home and business while reducing carbon emissions and helping create a cleaner environment. It's just a little something for your smart energy future.
An effort to boost capacity at the Charlestown Wastewater Treatment Plant is receiving state support. The Our Southern Indiana Regional Development Authority and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation have approved